All right, everybody. All right, the video should be firing up. Welcome back to another night of coverage, day 68 of the war in Ukraine. I'm your host, Andy Mercado, and you are watching live on YouTube, Mercado Media. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We have some news to cover. I haven't seen you guys in a couple days. Sunday's my day off, and here we are. We're back, and we're ready to go. Oops, let me fix that. Comment where you guys are tuning in from. We're going to be back after the short intro. We got news to cover in Odessa. Missile strikes continue in the city of Belgorod in Russia. There's been more strikes in that city. We're going to be touching on that. Evacuations in the city of Mariupol have stalled, but they have been able to release about 100 people from the plant. So we'll be going into that news and more. Again, like the video, make sure you're subscribed, and we'll be back after this short intro. How we doing, everybody? Check into the stream. Comment where you guys are tuned in from. Again, I'm your host, Andy Mercado, and it is day 68, technically the morning of day 69. Technically the morning of day 69 in Ukraine. How are you guys all doing in the chat? There we go. There we go. That's better. I got the chat on the screen. We're ready to go. 15-year-old boy killed, his sister injured. Ukrainian officials confirm the missile hit a residential building. Earlier, Oleksii Danilov informed the roof that the roof was destroyed in the church close to his building during the missile attack in Odessa. Let me fix this chat really quick. Good evening, everybody. Good evening from Kenosha, Wisconsin. And you guys can follow along in the description of the video if you have not done so. There we go. Much better. There we go. YouTube chat's fixed. Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, Hamilton, Ohio. Good evening, everybody. Keep checking in. Governor says fire erupted at a military facility in Russia's Belgorod Oblast. Let me fix this. That's not so quiet. One person was injured. Regional Governor Vyacheslav Gladkov said on May 1st, Russia had accused Ukraine of shelling its neighboring regions, with Ukraine neither denying nor confirming this. Ukraine's intelligence, Russia continues to prepare Transnistria for war with Ukraine. According to the report, a local newspaper in the Russian-occupied part of Moldova will publish an article calling on Putin to involve the Transnistrian forces in Russia's war on May 2nd. Democratic Congressional leader Nancy Pelosi and others met with President Zelensky on May 1st in Kyiv and offered a full-throated support to Ukraine. And that's I don't know why they wrote it like that, but that's how it was written. So full support for Ukraine, throated support until victory is won. U.S. Congressional Representative Adam Kinzinger today introduced a joint resolution authorizing the use of military force to secure the territorial integrity of Ukraine in the case that Russian forces use chemical, biological, or nuclear weapons against the country. Russian occupiers resumed the shelling of Azovstal. About 1,000 people are still trapped with Ukrainian soldiers under Mariupol's metallurgic factory, according to Ukraine's estimates. The first 100 people were evacuated on May 1st. The evacuation is expected to resume on May 2nd. 3 civilians killed, 8 wounded by Russian shelling in Kharkiv Oblast on May 1st. Russian shelling intensified in Kharkiv and Kharkiv Oblast, targeting residential areas, according to Oleksii Danilov, head of Kharkiv Regional State Administration. Russian missiles again hit bridge across the Dnestr estuary in the Odessa Oblast. Sergei Brakchuk, a spokesperson for Odessa Oblast governor, said that the Russian occupiers have fired at the bridge, which has already been hit twice by the Russian forces. And we're going to be going over that. If you guys want to look at the map, that bridge is here. All right, bridge is right here. Jill Biden to meet with Ukrainian refugees during visit to Romania and Slovakia. U.S. will have finished training the 200 Ukrainians on the M777 howitzer artillery by the end of the day. So they were conducting training on the howitzer today in Ukraine and training Ukrainians on how to use that. And we'll be looking at some video of that. This was on April 28th, and they were sending these howitzers. So today they were training on them. Evacuation efforts from the Ukrainian port city of Mariupol have stalled on Monday, with hundreds of people still trapped in the Azovstal steel plant. Reuters reports more than 5.5 million people have fled Ukraine since the war began on February 24th, according to UN Refugee Agency. Meanwhile, German Finance Minister Christian Lindner said Germany was prepared to back the European Union's ban on imports of Russian oil. All right, and that is going to be the update on Ukraine. We have some more updates on the national news coverage that's been going on, and we'll be getting into that. We have midterm elections coming up here in the United States. The January 6th committee is going to be starting again. I'm going to be busy here covering news in the United States as the summer approaches. All right, let's hop into Ukraine now. So this is a look at our war map. As you guys can see, there hasn't been any alarms or anything to the west of Ukraine today that has been alerted. We got a minute ago in the Shirasky Oblast, so there's been some newer air raids. Let's refresh this map. I don't think it's a minute ago. Let's refresh this map. 29 minutes ago. So while we were live on Facebook, that's when these cities, was it the Kryvyi Rih? I'm totally saying that city wrong. Kryvyi Rih, Kropyvnytsky, and then Dnipro air raid sirens in the last half hour. In Poltava, there's an air raid siren a half hour ago. And 8 hours ago in Mykolaiv, there was a siren. 8 hours ago in Odessa. I wonder if that's a typo. Is that supposed to be Odessa? Hey, how you doing, Black Jedi? Good to see you. Good to see everybody. So let's look at the bridge that was blown up in Odessa. Again, this is a western port city. Russia's looking to finish this land bridge, and they're trying to complete the rest of this, so they cut Ukraine completely off of the Black Sea. They have failed to take the city of Mykolaiv thus far, and they've been pushed back, and they actually retreated. New Russian missile strike at the bridge over Dnestrovsky Liman in the Odessa region. Lyman or Lehman? No pictures, just words. Let's translate it from Ukraine now. Odessa region. The enemy fired missiles at the bridge across the Transnistria estuary. The information is specified, the spokesman of Odessa, OVA Brachtuk, said. So increased missile strikes in the city of Odessa. Those seem to be getting more frequent as the weeks are going by. There are dead and wounded as a result of Russian missile strike in Odessa, head of regional administration. Another telegram update. The chairman of Odessa from OVA, Maxim Morachenko, specified that as a result of a missile strike of Russians in Odessa, there are dead and wounded. So dead and wounded as a result of missile strikes in the city of Odessa, southwestern port city in Ukraine. Russian drone shot down over the Black Sea near Odessa today at 13:23, so at 1:23 in the afternoon. Look at this here. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Mercado Media. An enemy drone was shot down over the sea near Odessa, according to the Operational Command South. The enemy continues to try to identify objects for missile strikes on Odessa and the region. The work of a UAV was recorded over the sea, which was destroyed not far from the coast. An explosion over the sea was heard at 13:23 today. Death to the Russian occupants. Thank you, John. Snake versus Boss, round 4. Thank you to everybody that tuned in to our first episode of Metal Gear Solid. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. So we launched our gaming channel last night. So thank you to everybody that did tune in. I had a great time. Explosions reported near Odessa 17 hours ago. Straight from, looks like the Odessa government account. We'll see. Residents of Odessa and the region heard explosions. Residents in the region heard explosions. So these are resident reports. More explosions again audible in Odessa. No alert sounded. Explosions are heard again in Odessa. The alarm has not been announced yet. Send information on the situation in the region. So those didn't get picked up by the air alarm siren. I did see a video though that there was a siren going off. We'll be going through that when we get to Rob Lee's videos. We saw the Russian drone was shot down. A 13-year-old child killed and a 17-year-old girl wounded among casualties of the Russian missile strike in the city of Odessa. As a result of the missile strike in Odessa, there are wounded and dead, said the head of Odessa, OVA Marchenko. That's the direct translation. All right, that's going on in the city of Odessa. Let's move east. Reportedly, air defense engaging aerial targets over Oleksii in the Mykolaiv region. It's getting common to blur the tops of buildings, so that's why it's looking like that. Right, let's get the translation. So explosions are reported in Ochakovo, Mykolaiv region. We check. So the we check is that, I assume that means that we confirmed. Mykolaiv region. Here's Kherson. Reports of an explosions near Kherson, and there are also reports that the city of Kherson, which is under Russian control, have restored their internet capabilities so Russia can continue its propaganda output. Telecommunications tower was hit and destroyed by Ukraine in the city of Kherson, and the internet in that city has been restored. Russia is attempting to do the exact same thing in the city of Kherson that they did in Crimea, that they did in Luhansk, and that they did in Donetsk and Transnistria, and that's not even counting other countries that are out there. They're annexing city by city, and then they're annexing and installing a pro-Putin, pro-Russian government in the city, and then just launching and then putting out propaganda, pro-Russian sentiments, and hammering these cities with Russian propaganda. Here's the city of Mariupol and the Azovstal steel plant. Big smoke column visible over the Azovstal, which is one of the reasons they had to pause the evacuation. Slated to resume today. We're going to be watching the May 9th parade live. Not to be inspired, but because that stuff is like important to pay attention to as well, and what the messaging is. Big smoke column over the Azovstal steel plant, and here it is here's the plant on our war map. As you guys can see, it's completely surrounded by Russian forces. There's the Azov battalion in there. There is the Marine battalion is in there, and I believe there's one other unit besides the Azov battalion that is still in that steel plant, along with hundreds of women and children. Here it is from the satellite. A lot of the RT Russian videos are coming from the east in this Livobornevsky district, and we saw on Saturday night. I mean, we just saw a howitzer just shooting the exterior wall of the Azovstal steel plant to the east. This is where all the RT Russia videos are coming out, and all these apartment buildings that you see them taking videos in, and vehicles driving through, and BMPs engaging buildings. That's all to the east of the Azovstal steel factory. Let's continue up. Go to the Donbas, to the east. 2 Russian missiles hit Moldova district in the Dnipro-Petrovsk region. Let's get the translation here. In the region, an air alarm was sounded several times in Luhansk. Information of the extent of the destruction is being clarified. I urge citizens not to neglect safety rules. So don't, because I'm sure at this time the citizens are becoming just like, even when you're not if you're in the military, if you're not in the military, eventually you become numb to the air raid alarms. You do. Even if you're a veteran, shout out to our veteran community. Comment if you served, what branch, what years of service in your MOS, but especially veterans will understand the air raid alarms. Eventually, you just sleep through them, or they just become a part of your daily life. Or the IDF alarms, I should say, for veterans. But these air raid alarms, you got to remind the people not to be complacent. Complacency does kick in during war, for sure. Complacency kicks in, and that's Russia. That's what this war of attrition is banking on, is Ukraine to get complacent, because Russia's not stopping the slow drip pace that they're at, and that all it would take is Ukraine to start getting complacent, and their people to start getting complacent for more casualties. And they're taking lots of casualties, but that's all it would take is for that to happen. Russian army continues shelling of residential areas in Popasna. Rob calls it Pop Santa. City of Popasna. I think it's is it Popasnaya? What's up with the extra AYA? Got to keep in mind, a lot of these cities have a Russian spelling of them. So there's like 2 different spellings of cities. Well, that's in the city of Popasna. Got the United States Marine Corps 0614 0313. Thank you for your service. I was at 88 Mike. Active duty 2012 to 2020, and then 2012 to 2016, and then Army Reserves from 2016 to 2020. He did it tonight too. Let's continue moving up the Donbas region. Let's look at Lysychansk, right? Lysychansk. 3 killed, 3 wounded as a result of Russian shelling in the last 24 hours of Luhansk region. We got some reading to do here. Let's translate this. Heavy days in Luhansk region. 3 people were killed and 3 wounded by orcs in Luhansk region. Among the victims, a miner in Lysychansk burned down a gymnasium, which is part of the Belgian heritage of the city. Powerful long shelling prevented a full evacuation. 3 killed, many destroyed homes. In total, on May 1st, the towns and villages of Luhansk region suffered 18 times from enemy shelling. Only the destruction of 28 houses have been officially recorded. With every day less and less addresses where you can help with evacuation, leave. Currently, it is more or less safe to evacuate only from Severodonetsk and Lysychansk. Changes at the front every minute. Evacuation to safe regions of Ukraine at the Russian take your documents and take you into unknown direction where there is no chance of return. So they're urging people to get out of here. The only way out would be to the west. Russia, like, then they're taking like village by village over here in the Donbas. Russia's goal, this is what I bet. Russia's goal here, and this is my opinion after watching almost 70 days. This is what Russia wants. They're gonna want half of this, probably like right here. They can't take Kyiv, but where the river is. This is their goal. I don't even know if they'd be able to get up here though. That's gonna be tough. They failed up here miserably, but they want all this. If you guys look at my mouse, they want all this, and then to finish the land bridge down here. Looking to annex all of this land and then the entirety of the Donbas region. Not gonna say if they're gonna have any success or not, but that's how I feel that that's what I feel their strategy is, to just annex the whole eastern region of Ukraine and the southwestern part through Odessa, underneath Moldova, and then take the rest of the land. So, and that's again if Ukraine starts getting complacent, which we're seeing a couple reports of their citizens not really listening to the air raid alarms and they're urging them to be mindful of safety and to evacuate. Because Russia is not stopping. It is a slow drip, but it's a war of attrition. They are slowly gaining ground. Slowly. 2 civilians wounded as a result of Russian army shelling in Barvinkov. Significant damage in Fesky village of the Zolonichiv community. I don't think they're going to have any success up near Kyiv. They tried that already. 2 residents of Baranivko were injured in the shelling of the Russian Federation. There are damaged houses and administrative buildings. Zolochiv community was subjected to Russian shelling once again. A school and kindergarten and house of culture were destroyed in the village of Fesky. The village of Fesky. A kindergarten and a house of culture. What is a house of culture? Is that like a theater? Would that be like the equivalent to a theater? Covering protests outside of I don't know what's going on with no, I don't know. Listen, I can only handle so much news at once. Send it to the Discord server and I'll look at it. Shelling in Kharkiv. Look at this. And again, a common tactic that we're seeing is a lot of censoring of buildings so Russia can't see where they hit. Consequences of one of today's arrivals in Kharkiv: do not announce the location. A black column of smoke rises over the city. We do not announce the location. OPSEC. They're getting tight. They're tightening up their operational security, even in videos. Completely blurring out, so you can't tell where exactly the strike was. Okay. In the Kharkiv region, 3 people were killed and 8 were injured as a result of the Russian shelling. House of Culture is a building for various cultural events. I mean, yeah, but like specifically, do we have those here? In the Kharkiv region, 3 people were killed and 8 were injured in a day of Russian shelling. They're preparing to repeal Roe versus Wade. What? Send all information to the Discord. We'll talk. I'll go through it. Right now we're focused on Ukraine, but might have to do a separate live for that one, you guys. I don't do lives of just a whole bunch. I try to keep it focused as much as we can, but I'll definitely, if it's something serious, we'll talk about it likely in a separate live. Okay. All right. Now let's go to our timeline. Let's go to Rob Lee's war footage, war coverage. Actually, let's do John Sweeney first. To John Sweeney. We missed day 67, so let's watch day 67 and then 68. The last one we watched was John walking right out of the Black Sea. All right, so now let's continue with day 67. War grinds on. We're still not going well for Vladimir Putin. This was posted on May 1st. Orange hats in the chat. Orange hats in the chat.
Kyiv Diary, day 67 of Vladimir Putin's war. The electricity is still on, the internet is still on. There are no Russian flagships in my bit of the Black Sea, and I'm still wearing my lucky orange hat. So the Russian offensive on the Donbas, still picking up little bits and bobs, but no great advances at all. Ukrainians say, on this video to prove it, that they hit a big Russian command post at Izium, killed a Russian general, and have injured the chief of the Russian general staff, General Gerasimov. That's sort of yet more evidence that Vladimir Putin's war is not going well. The British have put out a statement that they think that on May the 9th, which is the 7th anniversary of the defeat of Nazi Germany, Putin will announce universal conscription and that Russia is at war with Ukraine. If he does that, that's bad news, obviously, because people here in Ukraine were hoping that he would use May the 9th to call an end for his special military operation. If he does that, there is a big political risk for him, because this means that the special military operation is exposed for what it is, and that ordinary Russian kids, boys, will be called up to fight his brutal and stupid war. Really doesn't change the perspective of the West. We're here to help Ukraine. Putin is a danger to all of our security, and the sooner the Ukrainians defeat the Russian army here in Ukraine, the better it is for world peace. So, let's hope that happens soon. Love from the Black Sea.
All right, I'm going to post a poll in the chat. Some people are talking about it. All I'm going to ask you guys, because I love to ask questions beyond just stating my opinion on things. If I state my opinion, I want to know your guys as well. Fair trade, right? So, do you feel Russia will make a move to end the war by May 9th? Russia will make a move to end war by May 9th, which is their victory day. I personally don't think so, but I want to know what you guys think. Mainstream news seems to believe May 9th is going to be a big event. Likely just trying to amp, but I don't think this isn't going to stop anytime soon, in my opinion. All right. Everything too, I feel that Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin are just waiting for United States elections to start. Because when that starts, our entire country doesn't care about doesn't look in or focus at anything else around the world. And we have midterms this year. All right. Here's John Sweeney, day 68, heroism versus Hitlerism. Vote in our poll while you're watching.
Ace of Vladimir Putin's war. The electricity is still on, the internet is still on, and I'm still wearing my lucky orange hat. And there are no tanks anywhere, no Russian tanks anywhere near me. By the way, the lucky orange hat, it's 22 degrees. So, as everybody knows, I've launched a crowdfunder. It's raised £11,000 and counting. So if you go for John Sweeney's lucky orange hat and put in £1 on the prize draw, and you can win this lucky hat. But it's too hot, so I'm taking it off to introduce the lucky orange headband.
Lucky orange headband.
Surprise, surprise. So, the war. The Americans and the British are saying that Russia has lost 40 battle groups. There's roughly 1,000 men to every battle group. That's 40,000 soldiers. And the prosecution of the war, of Russia's war in the Donbas, is not going at all well. In the meantime, further evidence of Russian fascism. Lavrov, Putin's patsy foreign minister, was asked, why are you talking about the Ukrainians being Nazi if the president's Jewish? And Lavrov's response was that Hitler was a bit Jewish. I mean, for fuck's sake, do fuck off. There's also a video of a young Ukrainian couple, and the woman protected her man from a mine. She lost both her legs, and there's a video of them doing their wedding dance. She's got no legs, but he's carrying her in hospital as they dance. It's an extraordinarily beautiful moment and testament to the human spirit, which is what this side is all about. Love from Kyiv.
All right, that's from John Sweeney. That is the update. He's got an orange headband now. All right, now let's go to the war footage from Rob Lee, Open Source Intelligence. 2 hours before the ZU-230, excuse me, I messed this up in Facebook stream too. ZU-23-2 strike, a Ukrainian TB2 struck a Russian Strela-10 short-range air defense system on Snake Island. Another TB2 UCAV video showing a strike on a Russian ZU-23-2 anti-aircraft cannon on Snake Island from April 30th. More video. And it's hit. Video from Ukraine's 30th Mechanized Brigade of a strike on Russian ammunition that then detonates, possibly an M12 or an MT-12 Rapira anti-tank gun near the explosion. What is that? I have to look that up. From the 30th Mechanized Brigade. The video of Ukraine's 128th Mountain Assault Brigade reportedly of a Russian Orlan 10 UAV getting shot down.
Отак, Орлан долітався.
There's the drone destroyed. Video showing a Russian missile strike on Ukrainian building in Dnipropetrovsk. Looks like air-to-ground Kh-59 missile. This is in Dnipro. Or in the Dnipro Oblast. So here's Dnipro. It's north of Zaporizhia. Here it is. Sorry, map loaded a little slow. It's in this Oblast up here. Blessings from Orange County. How you doing, Orange County? We literally had a president of the United States who was an actor. That argument is so tiring. Literally had a whole president in the United States who was an actor. Like, that's not even an argument. The Clash Report, the Clash Report channel, likely linked to the Turkish government, posted a longer video of TB2 strikes on the 2 Raptor fast attack craft near Snake Island this morning. You can see it, the drone stalking these boats. Direct hit. We got a couple of them. Video reportedly showing Russian rocket fire on the Oleksii plant in Mariupol. Not recent footage, but it's newer footage. So this is in Mariupol, southeastern port city. Only the Azovstal steel plant remains there. We'll get into a video here after this clip, since we're on Mariupol. And I think it's about, let me see, it's shared to our Discord. Evacuation of all people from the Azovstal steel in Mariupol. Hey, we got that video to watch. Thank you for our Discord for sharing that. Join our Discord server if you guys haven't. Please do so. They hit that Illic plant. So this is what we got here. Evacuation of all the people from Azovstal steel in Mariupol must be. Save defenders of Mariupol.
Родини військових, які зараз знаходяться в місті Маріуполь, звертаємося до нашого президента Володимира Олександровича. Будь ласка, зверніться офіційно до представників ООН та внесіть в списки наших поранених, військовий гарнізон та заберіть тіла загиблих воїнів. Всі родини та вся Україна вас просить це зробити.
I am Azov, I am Mariupol, I am Ukraine. Sorry, it's really hard, but The purpose of the action is to appeal to world leaders, world organization, with a demand to provide a green corridor, an evacuation of all survivors, all people who now situated in Azovstal, as well as for removal to the bodies of the dead. I want to see my husband here at home. Defendants of Mariupol have been defending the city for more than 2 months. In complete encirclement without food and water. They defend Mariupol from the many times overpowering enemy forces. The war situation is with wounded defense. The so-called military hospital is located in the basement in Azovstal. Without medicine, without water and without food. The wounded are slowly dying, without the necessary help. Although there is no possibility to transfer the bodies to the fallen heroes, to their families, and bury them with dignity. We are Mariupol. Stop the silence, please. Do something. We must do. In 21st century, it's not happening. Not happening today, not happening now. Now in Ukraine and now in world. Slava Ukraini.
All right, video from people from Mariupol. I think they were holding that in Kyiv. That looked like right outside the Maidan Square.
Joining me now, retired Army Major Mike Lyons. Major, great to see you. I want to get your...
No, thank you. All right. Thank you for sharing that to our Discord server. Share more videos like that if you guys come across them. Video reportedly showing a Russian Su-25 attack aircraft after striking a target in Popasna.
Отработал хорошо! Молодец! Отработал хорошо! Молодец!
Sorry, I got caught up looking at the gate outside the Supreme Court. It's not really a fence. It's just like a little barrier. UAV video showing Ukrainian artillery strikes on a Russian armored vehicle in the forest. There were people on my Facebook stream that said this video is old, and if it is, let me know in the chat if you guys have seen this. Unclear with this one. This one is UAV showing our Ukrainian artillery strikes on Russian armored vehicles. The third video. Where's the second one? Here's the second video showing an MTLB on fire. Flaming Fairy, you think you've seen this one before too? There were a couple other people on Facebook that said they thought they'd seen it. I haven't personally seen this footage, but I know some of you guys are on it a little more of the videos during the day. I do try to not watch videos during the daytime, y'all, and watch them for the first time on the stream. I'll save them for the stream if I find a video to be interesting. Third video showing Ukrainian artillery strikes on a Russian armored unit near Izium. Here's Izium on the map. I'll show you guys. Here's Izium. Oh, come on now. There we go. Lost it for a second. City of Izium, I'll show you on our war map. North of Donetsk, north of Kramatorsk, south of Kharkiv. Here's Izium on our war map. It's in Russian-controlled territory at this time. So you're seeing Ukrainian strikes on Russian targets within it. All right. Second video, we saw that. Second video, third video. Video from Ukraine's SSO showing several Russian vehicles, reportedly a T-80 BVM, a T-90, and a 2 MTLB that were destroyed or on fire in the Kharkiv Oblast. It also shows artillery strikes on a TOS-1A thermobaric MLRS that was apparently caused it to launch its rockets.
Нужно вечно смотреть на три вещи. Как течет вода, как бегают москали и как горит москальский танк.
All right, video of a Russian armored vehicle on fire after an NLAW strike. Continuing on, video. So we saw that video from the Azov regiment showing artillery or mortar strikes reportedly on Russian forces near Mariupol in the Zaporizhia Oblast. Let's look up exactly where this city is. I wonder if it's geo-confirmed. They're usually able to geo-confirm these super high-def videos that come out. Here's Mariupol. All right, so it's to the south. Slightly to the southeast of Zaporizhia. There's Mariupol, get your bearings. Melitopol, Verdiansk, Donetsk. Alright. Mariupol. Click. Geo confirmed. Nope. Not seeing geo confirmation. Artillery mortar strikes on Russian forces destroyed Russian BMP-3. That's destroyed, all right. Not much left of it. Not much left of that at all. And continuing on, video of a UAV from Ukraine's 92nd Mechanized Brigade dropping ammunition on Russian tanks. Or that, or they're waiting to geo-confirm a day later or so. I don't understand. OPSEC. Geo-confirmations are giving you a pinpoint location of the exact spot, so the geo-confirms are usually coming out about a day later. Why the rave? I think it's that's a common genre in Ukraine. They literally held a rave in a bunker in Kyiv like a couple weeks ago. I think it's a big genre in the country. This is reportedly a military warehouse on fire. Where? Oh, okay. This is on May 1st. Something on fire in Belgorod. Okay, there was a fire in Belgorod on May 1st. They had sonic booms overnight in the city of Belgorod. That is here on the map. That's in Russia. Here's Belgorod, north of Kharkiv. Again, here's the border. Ukraine, or Russia, Ukraine. Here's Belgorod. On May 1st. Another view, if you haven't seen it. I wasn't live yesterday, so.
Ебать твою рот, блядь. Ебать твою рот, блядь.
Okay. Helicopters are reportedly circling in Belgorod 30 minutes before the explosion. This is on May 1st.
Летают и кружат. Где-то там сейчас второй. О, что случилось? Стрелять сейчас будут. По кругу летают. Что случилось? Аэропорт.
How you doing from Maui?
Кружат прям над одним местом. Уже как сколько минут. Не видно. Что ж такое, да?
Helicopters circling the area. You guys think it's false flag operation still?
Вокруг летают. Что случилось?
Oh, appreciate that, Wendy.
Потому что это хохлядский один. Сбивать и надо.
Okay, it seems there. Let's see what the latest is on Belgorod. I'm just gonna type in Belgorod. Look at the news. What we got here. 17 hours ago, new explosions in Russia's Belgorod. Governor reassures residents. This is the latest, 17 hours ago. 2 explosions took place in the early hours on Monday in Belgorod, a Russian region bordering Ukraine, but there was no damage or security threat, the top official in the area said. Governor Vyacheslav Gladkov said he wanted to dispel apprehensions among inhabitants of the region that something flew from the territory of Ukraine. If you're the governor of that city right next to Ukraine, he's probably not going to report anything bad happening. Vladimir Putin's probably up his, being the city right next to there. I'm sure Vladimir Putin's on the phone with this dude every day. This governor of Belgorod. Where were we at? Right here. That is not the case. Our military aviation was performing combat tasks as part of a special military operation. He added, using the official term by which Russia refers to the war in Ukraine. The fact that he felt the need to reassure residents suggested a degree of nervousness among the population after a spate of fires and explosions in recent weeks in ammunition stores and fuel depots in Belgorod and other southern regions. Ukraine has not directly accepted responsibility but has described the incidents as payback and karma for Russia's invasion. That's 17 hours ago. 18 hours ago, Russia plans to annex Ukraine's Donetsk and Luhansk with sham elections, Ukraine or US says. Here's a little more of the details surrounding U.S. claims that Russia plans to annex Ukraine's Donetsk and Luhansk regions. Michael Carpenter, U.S. ambassador and Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, told reporters on Washington on Monday, according to the most recent reports, we believe that Russia will try to annex the Donetsk People's Republic and Luhansk People's Republic to Russia. Yeah. You don't... Regular people in my chat right now could have told you that. U.S. officials. They're gonna. I thought they already did annex these two. Vladimir Putin gave them their independence. Vladimir Putin established the independence of these two, and then invaded. They're looking to annex this whole side of the country. Fixing to. Not saying that they're going to. Ukraine's proven they can hold themselves. So that is the latest on the city of Belgorod and the governor telling that it's all good. More photos of the fire in Belgorod. Let's see what the latest is in Belgorod on Twitter. There was actually some video posted overnight. Oh, lots of stuff going on with the... There's the picture of it if you guys wanted to know, of the Supreme Court building. That's not a serious fence at all. So here it is, second video in Belgorod, Russia tonight. So far, assuming it is sonic booms again. No indications anything it has been hit. So this was overnight in Belgorod, just sounds of sonic booms taking place. No reports of explosions to this point. Alright. And then I think there's got to be... There's a couple more videos of Belgorod. Just car alarms going off and booms in the distance. But again, no reports so far this morning of any explosions in Belgorod. Going down our timeline here. Comment where you guys are tuned in from. What city, what state we're in the world. We're about an hour into the stream. We're about a third of the way into the stream. The stream goes for 3 hours every night, starting at 9 p.m. Central Time. I was about a half hour late tonight. Facebook went. I got tied up a lot earlier with Elden Ring. I was playing Elden Ring and got tied up. So I'm really trying to keep it at 9 p.m. between 9 and 9:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then Saturday nights. Monday through Thursday and Saturday nights. Here's another video of it so you guys can hear what that noise in Belgorod sounded like. Providence, Rhode Island, how you doing? Scotland. We got Scotland tuned in. We got the Lithuania tuned in. Welcome, Ontario, Canada, Edmonton. Kenosha, Wisconsin's checking in. So it might have just been their air defense going off. Okay, let's go to... I wonder how much of this we saw. We might have seen all of this now at this point. Yeah. We don't need to go through the video. We just did all that. All right. Let's continue on. Let's speak the truth. Let's go to This one here, Ukraine hunts down traitors helping Russia. Let's look at this Associated Press report and how Ukraine is hunting down traitors within their country. We do go into reports like this, and anytime we can expand upon the current breaking news, we do on this channel, and this is an example of that. So again, like the video, make sure you're subscribed. All full credit to Associated Press for this report here.
Куда выходим? Выходим. Куда пошел? Выходи. Выходи сюда. Выходим. Ну что, там женщина. Тут бабушка. Все. Выходи сюда. Кто еще из мужчин? Сюда выходи. Есть. А мужчина, успокойтесь. Вы беженцы. Да? Ребята, успокойтесь совсем. Все хорошо.
This man is being arrested because of social media posts praising the Russian president, calling for succession, and insulting the Ukrainian flag.
Посмотреть.
Посмотри на меня. Поддерживал.
Смотри на меня внимательно.
Но я теперь уже не
Это читай.
Ну, я поддерживал много, да.
Ты поддерживал Путина, да, и
You supported Putin? Are you supporting the Russian army?
поддерживаешь армию России. Как-то ты не хорошо.
You are speaking very nicely about the Ukrainian flag, are you?
О флаге Украины, да, отзываешься? Да?
Извините. Ну да, это много ставил.
Yes, I commented a lot. I told you I changed my mind.
Я вам говорил. Ну, я уже это даже передумал все это.
Сегодня, да? После нашего прихода, да?
Ну,
Прямо сейчас, да?
Ну, понятно.
Да?
Так, собираем вещи, одеваемся.
Get your things and get dressed.
Вещи одевайся.
А что будет?
Ничего не будет.
Ну, а куда меня?
Все буде
Where are you taking me? All will be in accordance with Ukraine law.
відповідно чинного законодавства України.
Sharing pro-Russian memes. To split from Ukraine is not. Let's look at what did the first one say?
Відповідно чинного законодавства України.
To split from Ukraine is not separatism, it's evacuation. This rag is a symbol of death.
Не знаєш
Ну, не надо там бить.
Конечно, никто тебя не будет.
Все,
Мы ж не расшифруем.
обулся.
Все, погнали. Забери.
Не-не-не, не беру. Не, все по закону. Он будет, все с ним будет хорошо.
Садись.
Дуже швидкий темп задають наші збройні сили.
Security service of Ukraine, our armed forces move quickly.
Ми мусимо їм відповідати і надавати інформацію і
One of our key goals is that no one stabs them in the back.
Працювати так, щоб їм не били в спину.
Відповідальність за колаборацію
My message to them is simple. Collaborators will be brought to justice.
невідворотня. Завтра чи післязавтра
Tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, that doesn't matter.
це питання другорядне. Головне
The main thing is that justice is inevitable.
неминучість того, що справедливість буде відновлена.
Hello, don't move. Where is your son?
Символики никакой нет, смотрите. Внимательно. Ладно, все, ушли, пошли отсюда. Вот этого достаточно. Вот
А что, какая причина, что к чему, что вы это?
Переживать не стоит, отец, переживать не стоит. В какой-то момент ваш сын немножко запаниковал и повел себя вызывающе. Понимаете?
Человек был задержан после обстрела, снимал все на видеокамеру. При попытке наладить с ним контакт повел себя подозрительно, тем самым вызвав наше внимание. Вот. При осмотре его телефона были найдены фотоматериалы, контакты с противником. Своими действиями он подвергал опасности не только нас, военных, но и жителей гражданских.
Я говорю, ну вот кто по нам стреляет? Кто? Это же не наши. Говорю, это ваши, говорю, фашисты. Так он вот этим бесится. Понимаете? Вот это и все.
Он любит их.
А?
Он их любит.
Он любит это, как говорится, в Якутии был, там и служил он это.
Ну, понятно.
И вот он привык, и вот это, думая, Россия и все. Вот и все.
Ну ничего, его полечат.
Как?
Полечат его.
You'll be cured. What an intense video that was. I was going to put a poll in the chat. You guys support Ukraine going after pro-Russian civilians? Or how do they say that? Pro-Russian, what do they be, like separatists within the country. So you can say traitor too, actually, within the country. I'm going to put separatists though. You support Ukraine going after pro-Russian separatists within the country. Then we'll watch a Roman video. There we go. All right, poll's coming up. Ruble is back. Is Russia recovering from the sanctions? All right, this is Roman. NFKRZ. I love Roman's channel. He does a really good job and he's funny. So, the ruble is back. Is Russia recovering from sanctions? Let's find out.
For the past month or so, everybody, pretty much including me online, have been making non-stop jokes about the Russian economy and the Russian ruble, the Russian currency, basically being down bad, being in a pretty awful state. And it's been true for a while, and people still continue making these jokes, you know, saying that the ruble turned into ruble, you know, very funny. But the thing is that if you actually pay attention and look at what's going on right now, it seems that the ruble is back. It actually is in a better state than it was before the start of this special military operation. Well, the truth is that it's not that simple, and in a way, yes, it is back, but it's a more complicated situation, and it doesn't necessarily mean that things are going very well. Hello Blazers, it is your boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian. Hi guys, today welcome to a brand new video. In today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about what's going on with the Russian currency currently, and try to understand what is up, because a lot of people are very confused how it can be doing so well, and again, it's not that simple. But yeah, we were right here at a pretty cool place actually to do this. This is actually a cable car station that we're gonna go and take a funicular to the top of the mountain, and we're gonna continue our story here. I guess it's gonna be an epic metaphor for the rise of the ruble or whatever. I don't fucking know. Let's go. Okay, here we are guys, up at the mountain of Tatsminda here at Tbilisi, looking over the entire panorama of the city. It's pretty tight, but we're here today to talk about various economic matters. So as I was saying, if you actually pay attention, the ruble is back, kind of. Before everything started, on February 22nd, it was 78 rubles for $1, okay? That was
do not ever disrespect Roman by comparing him to Hassan Piker. Don't ever do that. He is not Hassan.
Exchange rate, and then obviously it started going down quickly, and at the height of its downfall, which was actually on March 7th, it was worth 139 rubles to $1. That was like my worst nightmare, to be honest, and it basically dropped down in value like twice. Well, the thing is that right now, April 29th, as I'm recording this video, it is
Roman frequently shows self-awareness. All right, frequently.
1 ruble for $1, which is like better than February. What is going on? Well, it's actually quite simple if you put it in short, and that is exactly what I want to describe and explain in this video. What the Russian government has done to bring the ruble back and make it stronger again, make the ruble great again, and also how this basically doesn't mean that the Russian people are getting more rich or anything. It's not. People get more poor and can afford less things, even though the ruble seems strong. It's a difficult situation, so let me get into it. Let's talk about why the ruble even dropped down so badly to almost 440 for $1 in the first place. Well, the reason is because of the sanctions, obviously. One of the biggest sanctions was probably the fact that the Central Bank of Russia, which obviously regulates the use of currency and, you know, finances in Russia overall, in case of a scenario like this, they've been building like a fund of dollars, and the US government seized $600 billion or so of Russian money in dollars that was like stored in the US or Europe or something like that. So huge amount of cash was basically seized. That cash was used a lot by the Central Bank of Russia to try to battle the ruble's downfall, because that's what the central bank would do in a nutshell. It would sell US dollars for rubles, therefore creating can like demand for it and pushing the exchange rates a bit higher, sort of combating the panic in the economy when all the Russians suddenly ran and started exchanging their rubles to dollars. Next thing
So it's artificial as hell, and when that's over with, it's about to tank worse. So it's artificial right now.
Also heard the Russian currency a lot is that a lot of European countries actually pulled out of buying Russian gas. However, the reason why the ruble is still being able to sort of get back is because some countries still do it. For example, Austria and Germany. And not only that, but Russia actually recently put out like an order saying that if you want to buy gas from us, you gotta pay for it in rubles, our national currency, which is also
dude, this shit's, yeah, it's
meant to drive up the usage and the circulation of ruble and to make it stronger.
It's a bubble that's gonna burst. So it's artificial right now. So it's a clickbaity title, but that's a good title. It's not gonna last. It's not gonna last at all.
Okay, so now let's discuss what Russia has done to actually improve the ruble inside of Russia. So there's measures that they've done not only to combat foreign countries, but also to basically limit the circulation of foreign funds inside of Russia and for Russian citizens outside of Russia. It's kind of, it's ruining my life a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, but anyway. So first of all, what they've done is that they increased the interest rates in Russian banks to 20%, which means that people will get more on their deposits now and everything. Essentially, this is meant to, again, battle the downfall of the ruble and to incentivize people to save money in rubles more instead of converting it to USD or Euro or any other currency, basically. Another really funny, really cool measure, guys, that they've implemented is that anybody, essentially, who makes money from abroad, this could be, you know, IT specialists or YouTubers, anybody who makes money from abroad, essentially, and gets it in Euro or dollars or whatever, within a few days of receiving their money, they have to sell 80% of the sum that they've received, not sell, but exchange it into rubles. So imagine you're getting $10,000 a month, you were doing really well for yourself, then you would have to exchange $8,000 of that 10,000 into rubles. It's the law, what can you do? And essentially, again, this measure is pretty obviously meant so to increase the amount of USD and Euro and other foreign currencies that the central bank has in order to battle the downfall. Another thing that Russia did as well is they limited the ways in which you can send your finances to foreign countries and foreign banks. Initially, they actually limited sending money abroad completely, but now they actually removed that, make it easier a little bit, and you can send yourself up to $10,000 a month on a foreign bank. Russia also limited the amount of money people can exchange to dollars. Here's the thing, this is basically how it works, and this is like kind of funny. If you have dollars, right, you can exchange them into rubles all you want. You're free to do it. You're turning your filthy little smelly dollars into glorious Russian rubles. But if you want to do the opposite, if you want to exchange rubles into USD, then it's not that easy and you have limitations. First of all, you can only withdraw up to $10,000 from your bank accounts for this whole year, pretty much, almost until the end of the year. And I understand this sounds like, you know, first world problems, because admittedly, most Russians don't have $10,000. Maybe they do in rubles, but not in dollars. But anyway, it's still an issue for a lot of people. And also the thing is that even if you want to withdraw these $10,000, the dollars on your account that you're withdrawing have to be older than March 2022. So essentially, if you exchange this money after everything started, after the sanctions and everything, then you cannot withdraw those dollars because that is new money. And
wow, they're preventing you can only withdraw up to $10,000 for the year in Russia. So it's all control from the Russian government over their currency to try to keep it alive, but it ain't gonna last long. It's a bubble.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't make the rules, you know? Another thing that's been implemented recently is that now you need to, you're basically only limited to $10,000 in cash when you leave the country. You can only bring upwards to 10K on a plane if you leave in Russia. Before that, it was pretty much unrestricted. It could be like 25 billion as long as you declare it and you have proof of where you got the money. But now only 10K and that's it. There's also several limitations that Russia has implemented for Russian citizens who want to make money abroad to foreign banks and everything, kind of almost restricting it. It's really weird. It might make everybody who makes money to a foreign bank a criminal, basically, but I think there's gonna be more clarification on that. It's not like
you can't put money in foreign banks.
Like that put everybody in
jail.
jail.
Oligarchs. Vitaly said Russian oligarchs are pissed. Yeah, the Russian billionaires can't put your money in foreign banks. Dang.
Right. Hope so. So yeah, pretty much all of these measures, all of these new restrictions and limits, they're implemented in order to limit the flow of the money out of Russia. It's making it harder for Russians and also for foreigners to get their money out of Russia and out of Russian banks because Russia needs it right now, you know? You guys would give up part of your wealth to save your homeland, right? You would. And I guess you could say that these measures did work to some degree, because as we can see, the ruble exchange rate is going up. However, here's the main point of this video, I guess. The thing is that you guys need to understand is that even though the ruble is going back, it doesn't mean that the Russian economy is doing much better right now. Just suddenly it got recovered and is doing better than before. That's not the case. And things did not go back to normal as far as the buying power of the ruble and the average citizen is. If you're American, you gotta understand one thing about like Russia, for example. The prices of pretty much everything in the country, like food, tech, services, I mean pretty much everything is always tied to the dollar, and the logic is quite simple. So if the ruble is worth less to the dollar, then things are more expensive in rubles. That makes sense, right? However, salaries are not really indexed and they don't really increase as quick as it falls. And when the ruble falls, that leads to Russians actually making less money on the same jobs, because in dollars they make less now. And the products that we're buying that are usually shipped from the West or Asia or whatever, we have to pay for them in dollars still. So their price in dollars increases and people's salaries decrease. So basically everything just becomes more expensive and it's harder to afford. And that is still going on, and it's still...
How long is that gonna go for? Before if there's gonna be any revolts in the country
going on, as if the ruble's rate is like
wages are less, but they're all the Western amenities that they have over there, they're increasing. The prices are increasing. All the Western shit that they have.
Maybe like 150 right now, you know? Here's a good example, actually. My real world example, my personal situation. So I bought my computer, my MacBook Pro that I use to edit all my videos about like 8 months ago and 9 months ago, something like that. And I remember that I bought it for 170,000 rubles, okay? And right now, if you go and check on like Russian retail, tech retailers, that same MacBook, the exact same specs and everything, same color, same memory, same everything, costs 225,000 rubles, okay? That's a bit of an increase, isn't it?
What is that?
That doesn't really make sense. Well, it does. Because the thing is, even though the ruble came back, kind of, the prices will not come back. Because first of all, Apple kind of left Russia, right? So we don't know what's gonna happen to like the import of Apple products at this point. Nobody knows. So they're probably running out of them to some degree. And yeah, things are just getting more expensive. And this goes for everything, not just tech products, but for groceries and I mean, literally everything. Now, I'm not in Russia currently. I mean, by the way, check this view. This is insane. Like literally though. I could literally misstep right now and fall down and die. Perfect, dude. Thing is, I'm not in Russia right now, so I cannot hit the grocery store and tell you like how much prices have increased, but I kind of have a general idea of it. And I got this, for example, from an article online about the ways prices change in Russia and whatnot. For example, there's some eyewitness here, a lady named Marina from Moscow, who says that she used to buy cans of Dutch-made baby formula for 2,500 rubles before February 24th. And now the same can costs 4,500 rubles. While boxes of kasha, which is porridge, have gone up from 64 rubles for a 500 milliliter box to 100 rubles, okay? So yeah, food prices are going up. Obviously, you can tell that in the dichotomy of the ruble falling and the prices increasing, this does make perfect sense. I've seen it for years, I've seen it throughout my whole life. It's always been increasing slowly but surely. And in 2014, when the ruble dropped twofold, it increased twofold in like a second. Well, here, the ruble currently is like in a good state, but the prices are still going up. You know what I mean? For example, according to Rosstat, Russia's statistics service, prices for cabbage and carrots increased up to 85% and 54% respectively, which is a lot, okay? And I'm like, when I'm calling my mom or whatever, I'm like, you noticing the prices going up? And she's like, yeah, it's hard. So yeah, everything is getting more expensive, and the reason is because prices don't just depend on the currency. It depends on a lot of factors that are being, you know, modified right now, such as the way logistics of export and import are handled. Obviously, with so many companies leaving Russia and many companies that provide freight, a lot of them stopped doing business in Russia. So there's going to be a big issue of getting things inside of Russia right now. And obviously this creates a scarcity of products that are made in foreign countries and drives prices up. Look at this. Look at this. Goddamn. Look at this. Look at this. So yeah, the thing is that a lot of people in Russia actually currently believe that this exchange rate is kind of BS a little bit, because, well, again, you can't really buy dollars. You're like kind of limited in that. It like almost feels like we're in the Soviet Union or some shit, you know, like you can't do anything with your money, bro. But also the thing is that you can buy USD like on the app. The thing is that buying USD in cash is actually like limited. You can buy USD in app in your bank, but the thing is that when you actually go to buy it, the rate is kind of different. Let me actually check it right now. Look at this. This is the exchange rate.
Where did that guy come from?
Very nice.
Hold on, what was that?
Buy USD in app in your bank, but the thing is that when you actually go to buy it, the rate is kind of different. Let Let me actually check it right now. Look at this. This is the exchange rate right now. 71. Very nice. It's very nice. But if I actually go to like my bank, if I try to change rubles into USD, here we can actually see that it says that it's gonna convert my money by the exchange rate of 79 rubles, bro. It's not really 71, is it? And this is the case with pretty much every bank right now. Like, I mean, it's still better than 130, whatever. But like, look, I'm not an economist. I know there's probably gonna be some people in the comments that are gonna shit on me and they're gonna be like, Roman, you don't understand what the fuck you're talking about. And Russia's based. The economy is doing really good, but I doubt it. And anyway, yeah, I mean, even Russia's officials are saying that the economy is planning a huge reset and we're gonna have an inflation of upwards to 20% or something this year, which is, I love my life. So yeah, that is basically the situation right now. I think the way to summarize it is that technically, if you look at the rates and if you look at the graphs and everything, the ruble is back in town, baby. It's doing so good. But if you actually look at the situation right now, well, there's less economic freedom for people. People are still getting poorer, things are getting more expensive, and people can afford less. And that's just the way it is, and it's the way it's been for a while. And yeah, I just wanted to make this video to share my thoughts because I still keep making jokes about the state of the ruble, and when I actually look at the graph, I'm like, what is this? I just try to, you know, give my best assessment of the situation. Again, I'm not an economist. I'm not trying to look like one, but it is what it is. Anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy watching today's video, though. If you guys did, then please make sure.
That's Roman. On the state of the ruble. Sounds like it's artificially pumped right now. And it's not going to last long, and then inflation is going to go up even more. All right. Another video here. Thank you to our Discord server. Join our Discord server if you guys haven't. We have 1,200 tuned in. Make sure you like the video. You're subscribed to the channel. Comment where you guys are watching from. I'm Andrew Mercado, independent journalist, U.S. Army veteran. I'm streaming from the great state of Minnesota, where I got my starting in independent journalism during the riots in Minneapolis in 2020. So I've been going for nearly 2 years. Nearly 2 years now. Comment where you guys are tuned in from. All right, next video is going to be the F-35 pilot. NATO could, quote, completely destroy Russian forces. This was sent to our Discord. And again, if you guys have any videos you're interested in seeing on the stream or having me see or the rest of the community see, just share it to the Discord. All right, let's check this out from Warthog Defense about the, what is it, the F-35? Is this that new experiment, that new that we got? And this jet has like, this thing can like take off and land like sitting still, I think, on the carrier. I think it has like a jet under it. I think this is what that plane. How you doing, BC Canada?
One of the most noted authorities on the F-35 has some interesting things to say about the jet, including how it would fit in with European air forces and how suitable the fighter is for the air war over Ukraine. Billy Flynn, a former Lockheed Martin test pilot, also talked about how the jet represents a massive leap forward from older, Soviet-designed fighter jets, noting that the pilots who trained them would be unable to learn how to fly the F-35. Flynn also believes the F-35 is the only jet that can survive in the lethal air environment over Ukraine. Billy Flynn is one of the most accomplished test pilots around. Flynn originally flew CF-18 Hornets for the Royal Canadian Air Force and later flew as a test pilot for the Eurofighter Typhoon. He later went on to fly for Lockheed Martin for 17 years, from 2003 to 2020, in support of the Joint Strike.
It's not new, it's been around for a couple decades.
Fighter program. Flynn is a big fan of the F-35, and if there's anyone who knows the jet inside and out, it's him. Flynn touched upon a number of points about the F-35. One of the most interesting is his assertion that pilots in Eastern European countries that still fly Soviet-era fighters are just going to be unable to fly a fifth-generation jet like the F-35. 3 NATO countries, Slovakia, Bulgaria, and Poland, still fly the Soviet MiG-29 fighter jet, classified by NATO in the 1980s as the Fulcrum. The MiG-29, designed in the late 1970s, is the equivalent of the American F-16 Fighting Falcon.
So they're using the equivalent to F-16s, the MiG-29 still.
Of the Warsaw Pact in 1989, and the absorption of most countries into NATO means that some countries fly both MiG-29s and F-16s. And, as it continues to modernize, Poland will soon be in the unique position of flying MiG-29s, F-16s, and F-35s. Does this mean a Polish pilot could fly all 3? Not so fast, says Flynn. He contends that pilots that have flown Soviet-era fighters for the bulk of their careers would simply be unable to effectively fly the F-35. The MiG-29 is a completely different aircraft built with different design philosophies in mind. The MiG also lacks the technological sophistication of the F-35, from the stealthy design to the distributed aperture system that allows the pilot to see through the side of his aircraft. A pilot unused to such advances, flying on muscle memory and learned instinct, might not properly take advantage of everything the F-35 has to offer. Flynn believes that Poland's Air Force, which could
Okay, I don't want to hear an opinion now. I want to know about the F-35. Okay, so there's an opinion that's an opinion. The F-35 could destroy. Let's look at a video on what the F-35 is. F-35. U.S. military news. Here we go.
The F-35 Lightning II is now the world's most dominant multi-role fighter. Its detection range, geolocation, threat identification, and system response capabilities allow the jet to precisely fix and destroy the most advanced threats in the world, including every layer of Russia's latest SA-20 surface-to-air missile, SAM, system. While it still has several rough edges, the F-35 has now crossed several thresholds that make it the most lethal and cost-effective fighter in or nearing production within the NATO alliance. Here are 10 things you need to know about this stealth fighter. One, the first U.S. F-35A wing is fully equipped and already executing combat deployments. The maneuvering restrictions the jet had when first introduced are now completely removed. Even with a complete internal weapons loadout and full internal fuel, pilots can fight without limitation. Last year, I interviewed 30 pilots at Hill Air Force Base, and all 20 with previous experience in fourth-generation fighters said they would rather fly the F-35 in combat than their previous rides. That preference held for almost every dogfight scenario they could imagine. Two, the price of the Lightning has fallen below even the most optimistic government targets. In 2018, the Congressional Research Service estimated that an F-35A produced in 2020 would cost $77.5 million using constant 2012 dollars. Translating that cost estimate to current year dollars makes the price of each F-35A $87.1 million. The actual cost of an F-35A in fiscal year 2021 is $79.2 million, and it's expected to fall to $77.9 million in 2022, $9.2 million cheaper than the government's best estimate using current year dollars.
Damn.
3. The F-35A now costs less than any other Ally-produced fourth-plus generation fighter. A fully combat-equipped F-35A is the same price as an FA-18E-F, $9.8 million below the $87.7 million base price of an F-15EX, and $40 million less than the Eurofighter.
How'd they do that? So it's cheaper than what exists already?
And all three of those competitors require additional equipment like multi-million-dollar targeting pods before they can employ weapons in medium-threat combat environments.
Anybody in the Air Force get trained on this thing or touched it? Or been around it?
The F-15EX self-protection system is estimated to cost $7.5 million, and the sniper targeting pod costs more than $1.7 million per jet, making the total cost for a combat-configured F-15EX $19 million more than a full combat-configured F-35A. And none of those other jets would last for a day in a modern-day high-threat environment. 4. Competition has increased performance and driven down costs. The total price of an F-35 is comprised of the aircraft assembled and produced by Lockheed Martin, and the F-135 engine produced by Pratt & Whitney, plus profit. When a Northrop Grumman-produced aircraft subcomponent called the Distributed Aperture System, or DAS, failed to meet reliability thresholds, the system was replaced with the DAS produced by Raytheon that delivers twice the performance and 5 times the reliability at a per-unit cost 45% lower than the Northrop Grumman model. This switch alone will save the government $3 billion over the life of the program.
Israel's been using it.
5. not all manufacturers who helped build the F-35 have moved aggressively to reduce costs. Assuming it stayed on track with Pentagon acquisition estimates,
What's this?
autonomic logistics information.
Let's go back to the mission capable part. All right. So we know it's cheap.
But they're still
Or
below
it's cheaper than the competition.
the 80% mission capable threshold set for the fleet by Secretary of Defense in 2018. According to Lieutenant General Eric T. Fick, director of the F-35 Joint Program Office, the mission capable rate rose to 73.2% in 2019, up 18.5 percentage points from the previous year. With a priority for parts, forward deployed F-35 combat squadrons were able to sustain an 89% mission capable rate, which means parts availability for the fleet is still an issue.
Oh, because they didn't.
8.
They beat
Depots
the 80%.
limit the F-35 mission capability. When an F-35 component fails, it's replaced with an available spare, and the failed part is shipped to a depot for repair. A total of 68 depots are required to effectively sustain the F-35 weapon system, but just 30 are up and running, and only 11 of those are fully operational. Parts availability for the F-35 will continue to hold down mission-capable rates until all depots are operating at capacity. Lockheed Martin and the F-35 Joint Program Office have accelerated their efforts to get depots up and running, and now project that 64 depots will be operational by 2024. 5 years earlier than the estimated 2029. Assuming funding for parts remains consistent, the parts shortfall will end, allowing fleet-wide F-35 mission-capable rates to meet or exceed 80%. Nine. The helmet-mounted display system for the F-35A is still having problems. The helmet gives pilots an unparalleled level of situational awareness in combat, as it displays all critical flight and weapon systems data on the inside of the pilot's visor.
That's some futuristic. That's like, what?
From the system's built-in night vision cameras also projected onto the visor, as is the image from the distributed aperture system that automatically tracks and provides vivid cues directly to the pilot on the location of friendly and enemy aircraft.
Through the helmet. Wow.
The helmet is a game changer in combat, but interface issues with its display have caused pilots to become
That's like some Tony Stark shit right there. That's straight out of like Iron Man.
Oriented when refueling or while landing the jet at night. Lockheed Martin went to work fixing this system just as soon as pilots flagged it as an urgent operational need, and that fix is currently being fielded for Navy F-35Cs. It may take several years before the helmet fix makes its way to the Air Force. 10. The Autonomic Logistics Information System, or ALIS, is still too big, slow, and suffering too many problems.
Yeah, ALIS.
Every aspect of the F-35A's maintenance, supply, and operations are managed through the F-35 ALIS.
Right. I was looking at the way his hand was going, and I would have been afraid to break it.
Much like an Apple iPhone operating system, ALIS is a computer operating system that holds a conglomeration of 65 applications, subprograms, or modules. Some were built.
So they got Siri and Alexa in our phones, and they got Alice in the F-35.
Built exclusively for the F-35A. Others are commercial off-the-shelf programs. The problems arise when digital inputs from either the jet or a more modern Alice application meet analog inputs or processing from another module. The Department of Defense has elected to replace Alice with a cloud-based operational data integrated network.
Cloud-based? They have cloud-based networking data in that thing? How do you get cloud-based shit in the...
The new system is designed to decrease workload and increase mission capability rates for all F-35 variants and should begin fielding later this year.
A cloud for a plane in the clouds.
Overall, the F-35A fighter is flying exceptionally well. It now provides the United States with significant competitive advantage against peer competitor threats. Shortfalls in repair parts and other smaller issues need to be fixed as soon as possible, but the capabilities that the F-35 provides the nation
Ghost of Alice
today, along with the dramatic drop in price, make Air Force decisions to procure the F-15EX and to not ramp up F-35A procurement very puzzling indeed. The aircraft provides a capability America needs to engage in strategic competition.
I swear I seen one where the jet like goes underneath and then it lands hold on. I swear I've seen one. F-35 landing on an aircraft carrier. Yeah, this is the video I seen. Oh, this is the F-35B. What's the difference? There's a 35B?
Fighting versatility that the F-35 fighter promises look no further than the F-35B version. Crucially for Britain's Royal Navy, the F-35B's short takeoff and vertical landing capability will allow it to operate from new generation aircraft carriers that will not have catapults or deck arrestor equipment. The country's Royal Air Force will also get the F-35B, which will replace both the Harrier and Sea Harrier jump jets.
That's the Metal Gear Solid 2, the Harrier.
Naval operations is the unique part of the F-35B where we can do the vertical landing, the short takeoff and the short landing side of things. So the jet just does its transformer act, and then we take off short and we vertically land.
In Lockheed Martin's complex international program, UK companies BAE Systems and engine maker Rolls-Royce were key partners. Rolls-Royce developed the lift fan technology that enables the short takeoff and vertical landing capability. But the F-35B is also a key factor in future U.S. military capability, with the U.S. Marine Corps also depending heavily on multiple applications that will see it replace 3 different combat aircraft: the F-A-18 Hornet, the EA-6B Prowler, and the AV-8B version of the Harrier.
Not only can it go supersonic and carry advanced weapons with an advanced sensor suite, it can land on a ship that carries Marines as well. For the Marine Corps, the F-35B is a perfect fit. I mean, the B gives us the capability to take a 5th generation fighter and attach it to Marines in combat. To go wherever they go, we don't need a land base, we don't need tankers, we don't need the Navy's big deck carrier. We can take our ships, we can take our Marines, and we can go wherever we want to go.
I wonder if it's weapon...
35B's extraordinary operational flexibility and mission capability is intended to ensure that the Marines and other military forces from partner nations are ready for the fast-changing missions that are a fact of life in modern warfare.
So the F-35 is a multi-role fighter, so I can essentially provide any mission set with this aircraft, and it was designed from the bottom up to be able to do that. It's not specifically an attack aircraft or specifically a fighter aircraft. It's designed to be multi-role. This is the most lethal aircraft that's been made so far. It is very, very advanced.
So the Royal Air Force is using that. It looks like the Marine Corps. All right, let's go continue on. So let's get back into Ukraine now. Just wanted to watch a couple of videos on that F-35. I've been hearing more and more about it. Here's this. What is this now? This is just posted by us 15 minutes ago via Nexta. All right, what do we got here? Newest. We have more fires in Russia. There is a large fire at the warehouse of the pro-Kremlin Provenstchny publishing house near Moscow. Almost 34,000 square meters are burning. Around midnight, a hangar in the Bogorodsko district where printed materials were stored and burst into flames. A hangar in the... Where is this? This is in Russia. Another fire in Russia, y'all. Add it to the list. Moscow. Wow, that's actually like in Moscow. That's here. Could be a big deal. Let's look at the video. That's like in Moscow, y'all. Posted 15 minutes ago. It's from a couple hours ago now. So it happened overnight. This was in Moscow too. Wow, look at that. Big fire. That's a big fire. How do these photos get out? You would think that Russia would like try to hide this stuff. These are the space lasers. I'm dead. Let's look it up. There's got to be an article of videos coming out. Moscow. Let's just type Moscow in and see. News. Not seeing anything on that. Wow. Well, it was just posted. I wonder if I type, let's just click the hashtag. There's a large fire at the warehouse of the pro-Kremlin Pres Zelensky publishing house near Moscow. Almost 34,000 square meters. What is this? Let's try to find the Pres Zelensky publishing house. What's that about? What do they do there? Russian investors buy a 75% stake in large publishing house. From Reuters in 2021, May 18th article. Russian banks Sberbank and VEB along with sovereign wealth fund RDIF have agreed to purchase a 25% stake in each Russian publishing house Pres Zelensky. They said in a statement on Tuesday. Pres Zelensky, whose name means enlightenment. Yeah, it's been enlightened, all right. I think it's seeing some enlightening right now. It means enlightening. Interesting. Or enlightenment. It was valued at 108 billion rubles. Again, this is in 2021. 1.5 billion for the deal. The investors added. They did not provide any further detail about the actual price of the deal, which is expected to close in June. I'm wondering if this is why it was a target. This article was, again, May 18th last year, almost a year ago. Pres Zelensky mainly publishes educational books for Russian schools. It was considering an initial public offering, but its shares in 2018-2019, but never went ahead with the offering. Interesting. It publishes educational books for Russian schools. It's a book facility. Oh man, that just changed my mind on. That's gotta, dude. So this is a facility that distributes educational books to Russia. Who owns it? So you can look at that quick too, I suppose. They put extra investment in it over a year ago. Here's the website. Pres Zelensky, the way for over 87 years. Is Russian education holding with 40% of the country's educational market? 8 generations of Russian people grew up in learned using our books. So no, they didn't. There wasn't a book burning. Yeah, textbooks. Keep the kids from reading. Who do you think did it though, y'all? This looks like is an actively investing in technology, our employees, and our business. Making the best products in the market used in every school in the country, we are working towards creating a unified learning environment by offering products and services for children, their teachers, and their parents. Following our lifelong traditions, we're doing everything to make learning process better, more interesting, and more varied. We understand that modern education is a complicated and multifaceted process. Pres Zelensky offers different solutions with various complexity levels for entire educational systems, starting with more specific offers for every individual student and going as far as creating development programs for the entire region. Nowadays, our experience combined with our leading positions in the market and professionalism pave the way for developing strategic partnerships with various educational companies. Children's textbook facility. So this is the latest building to be hit with fires or something in Russia. This happened overnight. So I'm seeing that that facility is obviously going to be pro-Russian. If it's 40% of the regions reading those, it's going to be government textbooks. That's government educational textbooks. Here it is. This is in Moscow. A red marker is where it's at. They don't read. Okay, that's the latest right now. Large warehouse on fire. Gonna have to wait to hear more on that. 450 miles from Kyiv. It's not even close. The rescued cat from Borodyanka was brought to a veterinarian. A rescued cat. Eating good. I'm wondering what the resources are for animal rescue if you want to adopt an animal. Oh, they got a printing press in there at least. That's why the fires. There's texts in there.
Энергия как сразу появилась. Да, на. Да стой, бо сейчас и пальцы съеси.
GoPro video. Share that UK stream to our Discord. Join our Discord server if you guys haven't. If you have any videos or anything, please join our Discord server. Let's continue on now. All right, this is going to be evacuees can finally leave the Azovstal plant. This is the evacuation, or it went on for a while and then paused, and it's supposed to resume tomorrow. But this is in the Azovstal steel plant in the city of Mariupol, southeastern port city. Credit to Sky News for the report.
They are put onto buses and taken away to Russia. Uncertain and unsteady on their feet, they are put onto buses and taken away to Russian-occupied Ukraine. Many of the evacuees have been living underground in the Azovstal steelworks for days on end. And creating this UN humanitarian corridor to get them out has been fraught with danger.
For the first time in all the days of the war, this vital green corridor has started working. There were 2 days of ceasefire for the first time in the Azovstal area. More than 100 civilians have already been evacuated, women and children fleeing hostilities right there, right on the Azovstal plant.
For the families, it is a harrowing wait. Marina's husband, a fighter, is still trapped inside. She last spoke to him 2 days ago, but fears the Russians won't allow the soldiers to leave with their lives.
Там постійно вибухи, коли ми розмовляємо, постійно перепадає зв'язок. І я хочу також наголосити, що Женевська конвенція, вона гарантує захист стаціонарних та пересувних медичних установ, які не мають підлягати обстрілам. І цей захист гарантує безпеку і захист усіх хворих і усіх поранених.
Inside, the conditions are terrible. As many as 1,000 civilians and 2,000 fighters could be trapped here in the network of tunnels and bunkers. Above them, airstrikes and shelling have been constant. Getting in or out is almost impossible, and they are running out of supplies. These satellite images show how much of this Soviet-era plant has been destroyed. Whole areas of the complex have been obliterated. In this video posted on social media by the Azov regiment, a medic describes how they are struggling to cope.
У нас надзвичайно обмежені ресурси. Хлопці просто помирають на очах через те, що немає можливості їх евакуювати, немає їх можливості нормально долікувати. Ми просто просимо, благаємо про те, щоб нам дали хоч мінімальний шанс врятувати життя цих бійців. Вони цього заслуговують.
There are hundreds of injured fighters down here, unable to get the medical treatment they need. So far, in these evacuations, only a small number of people have managed to get out. There are hopes more will escape in the coming days, but as conditions worsen, it's clear it needs to happen soon.
This is what John Sweeney had talked about. Did we watch John's update? Yeah, we did. We did watch John already. But this is what he was referring to. Watch this report from Sky News. Ukraine war. Israel says Lavrov's Hitler remarks. I think this is Lavrov said that Hitler had some Jewish in him. Which is, John called that out ridiculous. Here we go.
Vladimir Putin has justified his invasion of Ukraine by claiming that Russian forces are conducting a special operation to denazify the country. This ignores the fact that Ukraine's leader, Volodymyr Zelensky, is himself Jewish. But in an interview on Italian television, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov dismissed Zelensky's faith because, he suggested, many Jews were also anti-Semitic.
Но то, что аргумент он выдвигает, какая может быть у нас нацификация, когда я еврей, я, если правильно помню, боюсь ошибиться. Но, по-моему, у Гитлера тоже была еврейская.
Right here, if I remember it right, I may be wrong, but Hitler also had Jewish origins, so it doesn't mean anything. Listen to this, y'all. Hey, history. It's gonna get, dude, muddying the waters, and this gets replayed back in Russia. Oh, okay, so Hitler wasn't that bad then. They're muddying the waters to the Russian people here with this language, and it's gross.
Это абсолютно ничего не значит. И мы уже давно...
Hey, look at Siri wasn't sure about it either. I didn't call for you, Siri.
Мудрый еврейский народ, который говорит, что самые ярые антисемиты, как правило, евреи.
This has outraged Israel. The Russian ambassador was hauled into the Israeli Foreign Ministry today, and the government has been quick to publicly criticize Moscow.
The remarks are an unforgivable scandal. Hitler was not from Jewish descendants, and the Jews didn't kill themselves during the Holocaust. We make every effort to keep good relations with Russia, but there's a limit, and this limit has been crossed this time.
Israel's Holocaust memorial, Yad Vashem, has called Lavrov's words dangerous and delusional.
He's propagating basically the inversion of the Holocaust. The victims are deemed to be the perpetrators. This is abhorrent, this is despicable, this is contrary to historical truth.
Israel is one of the few countries in the world to retain relatively warm relations with Moscow. Instead of arming Ukraine, they've tried to balance their own interests and play peacemaker.
Naftali Bennett has been treading a delicate and not wholly popular line here in Israel. The Israelis need a certain level of Russian cooperation on some matters. For example, bombing Iranian targets over the border in Syria. But there have been newspaper editorials here suggesting that the government might find themselves on the wrong side of history when it comes to Ukraine. And after what Sergei Lavrov has had to say, you can expect that domestic pressure will increase here for Israel to back Ukraine in the conflict.
Lavrov's words could therefore be a huge diplomatic own goal. Israel has demanded a retraction and an apology.
That's not going to happen. All right, this is the United States sends the M777 howitzers to Ukraine. These are the howitzers that we're sending over. Sending some howitzers over there. We gotta watch a video on that. You were on that one, Coach Brian? Seems like the United States is getting rid of all of the old stuff, huh? Out with the old. Oh man, ground guiding on 1,000, dude. That's what I'm talking about. This is the best ground guiding. That's how you do it the right way. Oh, that's how. Only the best ground guiding. My favorite ground guiders are the ones that just did the thumbs. So they're training them in the howitzers in 2015. There was more training today, but this video is from 2015. This part of the video is. Listen, the one thing the Army will never give up is the PT belts. Listen, that's not going to change. PT belts forever. 777. Oops. Typed the wrong thing. Oh, what's this? Oh, maybe I typed the right thing.
Come on, come on, come on.
Alright, here's a video on it. I typed Ukrainian M. I thought I deleted Ukraine. Finally, Ukraine used an American M777 155mm howitzer to destroy Russia, from U.S. military news.
Ukraine may not be delighted with military aid from the United States and NATO countries, but they can't complain about the latest hardware shipment they received from Washington. They are getting 155mm howitzers to blast the Russians in the Donbas phase of the war. These
moving these to the Donbas?
Artillery pieces are likely made up of M777 lightweight towed howitzers, a new and updated version of the guns. Let's take a look at the M777 to see how it can make a difference on the battlefield for Ukraine. Watch this video until the end and give your opinion.
Damn. Man, you gotta be fast and precise in one of those teams, huh? So they're gonna be moving these to the Donbas. That's to the eastern part of Ukraine. That's where these howitzers are going that the United States is sending. So we're watching a video, learning about them a little bit. We have a couple howitzer operators in the chat. Thank you for your service. Comment if you guys served in the U.S. military, years of service, but your branch. Oh, what happened to the video? There we go. Found it. Comment your branch, years of service. Thank you so much for your service. We have an awesome veteran community here on Mercado Media. Thank you so much. Also, hit that like button if you haven't. Like the video. Make sure you're subscribed to Mercado Media on YouTube. Thank you to everybody that engages with the video.
The M777 is an ultra-light or lightweight howitzer designed and manufactured by BAE Systems. The M777 is a 155mm 39 caliber towed gun that, through proven technology and the innovative use of titanium and aluminum alloys, meets the requirement for rapidly deployable and accurate artillery fire support. The M777 is the world's first 155mm howitzer, weighing less than 10,000 pounds, or 4,218 kilograms. One step closer to combat. Ukraine received its first shipment of 155mm howitzers to Europe on April 20th as part of the most recent $800 million assistance package from the United States to Ukraine.
And they just got it there too. They just got there. So we got 8 years U.S. Army, 11 Charlie, 2 tours Afghanistan, and 1 to Iraq. We got an 18 Alpha in the chat. What else we got here? U.S. Army, U.S. Navy F-14 Tomcat mechanic and an F-18 Super Hornet mechanic. That sounds awesome. Did you translate that to civilian? Do you do the air shows? That's what I would do with that one. I'd be working at all the air shows. U.S. Navy active duty and U.S. Army Air Force reserves from 85 to 93. U.S. Army infantry 21 years. 11 B 4 Papa. Bravo 4 Papa. What is a 11 Bravo 4 Papa? Oh, I haven't heard that one. What else we got? Never served. Roman infantry. Welcome. Thank you so much for your service, everybody. Thank you.
Ukraine. American troops will be training at least 50 Ukrainian artillery officers and non-commissioned officers, so they can take this learning and replicate it with troops in Ukraine. What a great gift for Ukraine! They are likely training on the M777. This is a lighter weight towed howitzer with better range and accuracy than the 1970s Soviet-era 2A65 Mr. B towed artillery piece that Ukraine is currently using.
So they're Ukraine's
using
that.
With the M777, the Ukrainians will employ the 155mm shell against the Russians instead of the older 152mm round for the Mr. B. This will help the Ukrainian army bombard Russian positions better. More ammunition than expected. The Americans supply the Ukrainian artillery forces with an impressive number of rounds, 40,000 of the 155mm munitions. That's a huge number, because the M777 has a finite number of shells it can fire before the tube needs maintenance. So, the 40,000 shells...
They're not going to obey that. They're going to just fire them to hell in Ukraine, huh? They're not gonna maintenance those, or they might, but like they're not gonna be paying attention to those, or be paying attention to the tubes.
Last a long time. The 155mm shell is adaptable. The other advantage of the 155mm caliber is the number of different uses for each projectile. There is a baseline high explosive fragmentary, but also smoke, illumination, and extended range. Artillery rounds have fuses that determine how the round explodes. So, 155mm shells have different fuse types: point detonating, delay, and airburst. These capabilities will be a boost for the Ukrainian artillery forces.
So it's got three different firing types. One more time.
Point detonating, delay,
and airburst. Those are the three firing options you have. Hopefully it goes into what each of those are, because I have no idea.
And airburst. These capabilities will be a boost for the Ukrainian artillery forces. The M777 weighs 7,500 pounds, which is light for towed howitzers. There is some titanium used during construction. This allows the 35-foot long gun to be transported quickly by truck or helicopter, and they can be packed on cargo planes easily, which explains how rapidly they arrived in Europe.
Well, how many replacement barrels do they send, though?
there is a sizable crew that must be trained.
Looks like it.
It does take 8 soldiers to fire the M777, which means training is essential. But an experienced crew can shoot 5 rounds per minute. Soldiers who rehearse crew tasks on the M777 can set it up in 6 minutes. Then, the trucks can pull the howitzers to a new position after a fire mission.
God, I feel like my hand would get taken off trying to do that thing, dude.
The M777 can engage targets that are 18 miles away. The highly accurate digital computer fire control operation makes the M777 stand apart. The towed artillery digitization system also uses GPS to find its target and get data from drones that send it back to the system. Newer munitions may not be forthcoming for Ukraine. It remains to be seen whether Ukraine will receive the more advanced shells from the Americans. They will not likely get the laser-guided M712 Copperhead and GPS-guided M982 Excalibur, but the high-explosive baseline rounds will still yield ample firepower. The most important requirement for this artillery piece is training, since it has a digital operation component. The Ukrainians must be trained quickly and able to teach soldiers who are used to firing Soviet equipment. But with such a load of ammunition donated by the United States, the Ukrainians will likely be in business for months before they need new shells.
Yeah, but what about the barrels, though?
M777 armament. The M777 can deliver the same amount of firepower as today's 155mm towed system.
Why does this one look... Oh. Why does this one look different?
155mm Raytheon Bofors XM982 Excalibur projectiles can be fired from the M777A2.
Oh, it's a different howitzer system? Okay.
Excalibur has a 40-kilometer range and a 10-meter precision. The M777A1 with Excalibur was first fired in August 2003, and the first production rounds were delivered in September 2006. In March 2007, Excalibur successfully completed a limited user test. After being deployed
Which one's better? Those that have used both of them, which one's better?
Iraq and Afghanistan for the first time. The M777 can fire up to 5 rounds per minute when subjected to high-intensity fire. It can also fire 2 shots per minute for an extended period of time. M777 mobility.
I know, right?
The M777 has a production weight of 3,000...
One full day on this thing looks tiring as hell. Hey, I think we lost viewers for a sec. We had a little connection hiccup. Let me know if it's good in the chat. Comment. Like the video if you haven't. Make sure you're subscribed. But let me know if you guys are good to go and the connection's good.
745 kilograms and can be transported by helicopter, transporter aircraft, and ship. The howitzer may be towed by a 4x4 vehicle with air brakes that weighs more than 2.5 tons. The Hydrostrut suspension system was supplied by Horstman Defense Systems of the United Kingdom. Towed road speed is 88 kilometers per hour, and towed cross-country speed is 50 kilometers per hour. The load on the towing eye is rated at 60 kilograms, and the towing ground clearance is up to 660 millimeters.
All right, that is the howitzer that's being sent to Ukraine from the U.S. Army. Let's check. Actually, we got another video of the fire at the Belgorod textbook facility. A huge warehouse with an area of 33,000 square meters. Has more than 100 firefighters and 33 pieces of equipment were extinguishing the fire in the urban district of Bogodorovsky. Red marker, that's within Moscow. This happened overnight here, so like a couple hours ago now. Most recent. The newest. Where'd it go? Here it is. Fire in Belgorod, or not Belgorod. I'm just used to saying Belgorod. It's right outside of right on the exterior region of Moscow. It's still like within the city. It's still within the city limits, but it's on the very edge. Belgorod. Let's refresh our list here. See if there's any of the latest on that, if there's anything new. The more I have looked into the order, the more it appears to be a forgery. What is this? There is an order by the Polish General Staff around that appears to show multiple Polish airborne vets that have been put on high combat readiness. The more and more I fear it's going to be fake. Okay, so unclear if it's even a true report. Here's another look at that fire that we're monitoring in Belgorod. Here's the website. I'm going to post the website into the Discord so you guys can look at this for yourself. Readable links. Here comes the website in the Discord of the textbooks that facility that is on fire make. 40% of the region reads these textbooks for children. A fire in Moscow. Wondering if there's anything more. That's old news. You'll just repost in video. Yeah, just repost the video. Nothing new yet. G'day says Russian forces will use heavy equipment, including artillery and multiple launch rocket systems, to destroy everything in their way. We got the Ukraine war video report to scroll down next. On Reddit. Textbook example of how to start a fire. A 23-year-old nurse from Lysychansk who lost both legs during an enemy mine explosion got married in Lviv.
Перший весільний танець. Оплески ваші.
Wow. 23-year-old nurse from Lysychansk lost both legs during an enemy mine explosion, got married in Lviv.
Vladimir Putin has just...
We just watched this report. Israel called Sergei Lavrov's remarks unforgivable. He claimed Hitler had Jewish origins. As he hit out at the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, saying his ancestry doesn't mean anything. There's a report of the fire. What is this here? Ukrainian tanks and soldiers. Americans load. We saw that. The howitzers. Russia's chief propagandist threatens to plunge Britain into the depths of the sea with underwater Poseidon nuke. This is coming right from Russian state TV that they watch in Russia.
А что будет после слов Бориса Джонсона об ответном ударе по России? Вообще на Британских островах, похоже, заговаривается. Зачем грозить ядерным оружием бескрайней России, сидя на, в общем-то, маленьком острове? Остров столь мал, что лишь одной ракеты «Сармат» достаточно, чтобы его утопить раз и навсегда. Российской ракете «Сармат» самый мощный в мире.
Новое смертельное
destroying an area the size of Texas or England.
гиперзвуковое оружие способно уничтожить территорию размером с
Isn't Texas much bigger than England?
Техас или Англию.
Это всего лишь один пуск, Борис.
A single launch, Boris, and there is no England.
А Англии нет. Раз и навсегда. Зачем?
Once and for all. This guy is like the face of one of the faces of their media in Russia.
Заигрываться.
Why do they play games?
Другой вариант – погрузить Британию в морскую пучину – российский подводный робот-беспилотник «Посейдон». Он приближается к цели на километровой глубине со скоростью 200 км в час. Нет никакого способа остановить этот подводный дрон. Боеголовка на нем мощностью до 100 мегатонн. Взрыв этой термоядерной торпеды у берегов Британии поднимет гигантскую волну, цунами высотой до 500 метров. Такой водяной шквал является еще и носителем экстремальных доз радиации. Пройдя над британскими островами, он превратит то, что от них, может быть, еще и останется, в радиоактивную пустыню, надолго непригодную хоть для чего-то. И как перспектива, а ведь Путин предупреждал еще 24 февраля.
If anybody interfered with this special military operation. Ukrainian firefighters rescued a cat. Oh, I'm wondering if this is the same cat that we saw eating in the video. What is that noise? Ukrainian firefighters rescued a stuck cat in the 7th floor building destroyed by Russia.
Кота нашого врятовано. Тепер котик п'є воду.
I think that is the cat. I think that is the cat.
Я його врятовано.
Looks like the same. I mean, didn't really get a closer image
П'є
of
воду.
it. Is it the same one? I think it is. So the cat's doing well. It got rescued from a building in Borodyanka. With English subtitles, the 12th Dmitro Vyacheslav Operational Brigade appeals to leadership of Ukraine and the international community to evacuate all personnel from Azovstal.
Слава Україні! Героям слава! Шановний український народе, шановна міжнародна спільнота, ми, військовослужбовці 12-ї бригади оперативного призначення Національної гвардії України імені Дмитра Вишневецького, з нашими побратимами з інших підрозділів Національної гвардії України та інших військових формувань 67-му добу боронимо нашу Україну, знаходячись заблокованою на заводі Azovstal.
Oh, weird. I was waiting for another video. This is a different unit. I keep saying that there's other units beyond the Azov battalion in the Azovstal, and here's one. The 12th Military 12th Brigade of Operational Designation in the National Guard. So they're not Azov at all.
12-ї бригади оперативного призначення Національної гвардії України імені Дмитра Вишневецького, з нашими побратимами з інших підрозділів Національної гвардії України та інших військових формувань 67-му добу боронимо нашу Україну, знаходячись заблокованою на заводі Азовсталь.
67 діб виснажливих боїв, авіаударів, артилерійських обстрілів, без світла, води, їжі, в повному оточенні.
Виснажені поранені бійці не шукають жалю у ворога, а знаходять можливості завдавати нещадних втрат противнику.
За місяці ведення жорстоких боїв гуманітарна ситуація на Азовсталі набула катастрофічного характеру.
В ситуації, що склалася, ми закликаємо вище військово-політичне керівництво країни та міжнародну спільноту зробити все можливе для правильної евакуації цивільних осіб, які залишились на території заводу, поранених військовослужбовців та тіл загиблих.
Відповідаючи за життя військовослужбовців, закликаю здійснити евакуацію всього військового гарнізону, бо вони того варті. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
All right. That's the Azovstal plant. That's down here in Mariupol, southeastern port city. There's the Azovstal plant. Here it is from the satellite. There's a few units in there, so women and children. Continue down. I think we saw this. Is this where they're just shooting at the building? Yep, we've seen that clip. Seen that. Saw that video. Here are the Polish T-72 M1 tanks, which are handed over to us. 236 pieces already in the Donbas and fight the Russian army. The Polish T-72 M1 tanks being used. Okay. Ukrainian soldiers sang the song Baraktar next to they got a full band in there.
Victory parade in Russia, which
I don't know what that means. Buried in 2 countries, sent home to Russia, then buried his leg in Ukraine. What?
Здесь вот в результате ожесточенного боя погиб полковник, командир инженерных войск. У него практически прямое попадание было, разорвало на части. Основную останки его отвезли домой, даже. А здесь потом нашли его ногу. И здесь вот захоронена нога полковника Овчаренко Николая Николаевича. 15 марта он возводил эту переправу, да?
Успел возвести. Это налажено уже практически погиб.
Царство небесное.
И даже, видите, даже на том свете в покое не оставлял.
Да, осколок пришел.
Даже могила под огнем находится противник.
I'm not understanding that. It was a Russian video. Buried in 2 countries. Total Russia losses as of May 2nd. These are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of May 2nd, according to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. 80 AA systems, 459 artillery, 1,048 tanks, 2,519 BTRs, 8 boats, 76 fuel tanks, 1,824 vehicles. They got nearly 24,000 troops have been killed. 4 command posts, 271 drones, 194 jets, 155 helis, 4 SRBMs, 152 MLRS, 38 special equipment, 147 KIA high-ranked military personnel not confirmed, 17 missing in action POWs, high-ranked military personnel not confirmed, and 84 cruise missiles. Russian losses via Ukraine. Interview with grandmother from Mariupol who lived in the city for over 71 years and was forced to leave the city because of the war. Here we go. Interview with a grandmother from Mariupol. Lived there for 71 years.
А когда вот народ бомбу скинули, вы про это что-то знаете?
А что я могу знать? И вышла, в чем лежала в постели.
Вы в подвале, да, жили?
Нет, я в подвале не жила. Меня соседи позвонили дочери, там как-то связались. Она на такси за огромные деньги приехала со своим другом и забрали.
Она к вам приехала в Мариуполь?
Она в Мариуполе жила, ну как, живет. У нее друг, вон там тоже киносъемщик.
А бои видели, как там дерутся наши?
Нет, я этого не хотела видеть.
Да?
Нет. А 71 год. Меня привезли, мама привезла. У меня мама была в концлагере в Германии. И привезли меня сюда, в Мариуполь. Долго мы не могли устроиться. Пока мама у меня медсестра, работала после войны в госпитале. С концлагеря ее забрали, сразу в госпиталь забрали.
А что про защитников Мариуполя скажете? Там еще остались.
Не знаю, я их не видела.
Да?
Что с улицы, на которой жили? Как она? Что
Разбитая, я сказала, как Сталинград после Отечественной войны.
Daniel says, if you want to know more about artillery, I was active duty from 04 to 16, 6 years with 3 tours with 101st on an M19, 119A2, and 3 years as a 13 Bravo AIT instructor. We've seen this. Mariupol after Russian shelling. It's the city of Mariupol.
Привіт, мої рідні. Ще одним показником успішності так званого великого російського наступу на Донбасі є ось ця чудова затрофеєна нашими бійцями 72-ка, яка скоро повернеться в стрій і буде далі бити рашистську наволоч. А ви вірте в Збройні Сили, вірте в Україну, все буде добре. Слава Україні!
Everything will be good, he said. Glory to Ukraine.
Не так, не так.
Says hello from World War II. Oh, he's using a... Oh my god. I use this... What weapon is that?
Welcome to Ukraine, сука!
Lewis gun. Is that a Lewis? No, it's not a Lewis gun. What is that? It's not a Lewis gun. Lewis gun's World War I, right? Oh, it is a Lewis gun. Am I right? Nah. Or it's a... no. No. I'm close. It's a PPK, you think? No. What? An APK? A Romanian PPK? That's... Am I... A DP... There it is, the DP. The DP... 20, is it the DP 28? Yeah. There it is. The DP. Lewis gun. That was in World War I. There it is. The Red Army's record player or killer machine gun. DP 28. The one in... It could be a DP 27 though.
Не так, не так. Welcome to Ukraine, сука!
Alright, let's see. Oh, it might be a DP 27 actually. Ironically, a weapon in Call of Duty. Soviet light machine gun. So, likely a DP 27. Ukrainian forces capture a Russian BMP-3 in the east.
Вот, собираем трофеи. Ёбнули БМП-3 нахуй. Сепарскую.
It's a 27, yep, I agree.
Собираем трофеи. Пулеметик, это нам сухпайок. Ебать его рот. Военторг России. Ты мне видео скинешь. Да, разгрузка гранаты. Что ты там выкидаешь? О, магазины, давай все магазины сюда. Рюкзак. Будем между собой распределять. Юрка, вон, помахай привет. Маме, на память. Давай, давай, вот.
Трофей, это, блядь, вещь!
Вот я сам, лично персона своей.
Continue on. A Ukraine MTLB UAPC modded with a B8 M1 jet rocket pods loaded with S8 80mm aircraft rockets fires at Russian targets. Very specific. Didn't leave any details out. The president of oh, am I getting it? I'm hoping I'm good for this. It's posted through, it's a secondary source through Reddit, so they can't do anything, right? The president of Ukraine said the current popularity does not inspire him since its price is the war in Ukraine.
I think you're just about the most admired political leader in the world right now. Do you have moments where you stop and think, how did I end up here? Do you believe in destiny?
Тож популярність, яка у мене є, про яку ти кажеш, то вона точно не надає мені і не надихає. Тому що я знаю, яка ціна у цій популярності. А ціна – це війна. Війна, результат якої ми знаємо, світ знає. І завдяки, до речі, і я тобі вдячний, і всім іншим журналістам світу, завдяки яким світ знає, що таке війна і скільки горя вона принесла в Україну, Україні, українцям. Тому я не очікував точно такого результату. Я на цьому місці, я думаю, що на моєму місці будь-який президент, якого обрав би народ України, саме повинен був бути таким, бути з народом. І я впевнений, що саме так діяла та чи інша людина.
All right, there was no translation, but if you understood, I mean, Ukraine forces captured a Russian T-80UE-1 battle tank in the east. That video's old. I've seen this. Old. Old. We're getting into old videos now? Older videos now, even though this was posted 21 hours ago. Okay, I don't know if I've seen this one or not. Ukrainian Gvozdika destroys Russian armored vehicles. I might not have seen this one. I know, I can't restream 60 minutes. They'll copyright strike me. It was okay here because it was through Reddit. Ukrainian soldier and war pup thanking the international community for its continued military aid.
Thank you, Operation White Stork, UCCA, and Ukrainian friends who brought 25 IFACs to the front lines for our soldiers. Thank you.
Thank you. Seen those videos, seen that video, seen that video. Seen this. Easter eggs are coming to Ukraine in trucks with orange signs. Video from Germany. Germany sending equipment to Ukraine. All right, Ukrainian soldiers rave. What the hell? Told you, I think that genre of music is popular over there. Techno rave music. Russian troops left the T-80 tank. The Ukrainian military is already performing combat missions on it. There's also a thermal imager that will allow you to fight at night. So Thunderstruck, and what I was told to me when I was in the military is Thunderstruck is about Fort Hood, Texas. The song is about Fort Hood from people that have been stationed there. I'm not sure. Is it true? Can anybody from Texas confirm?
Українські військові отримали від російських військ. Його насправді покинули російські війська на полі бою. І ним уже вправно користуються українські військові і виконують бойові завдання. Кажуть, машина пристойна і все-таки зараз виконує пристойне бойові завдання, але найцінніше в ній і найцікавіше це саме тепловізори. Зараз спробую показати. Ось тут тепловізор. Тобто це покращує можливості українських військ нині наносити вогневі ураження і відбивати атаки на великих дистанціях, зокрема в темний період часу. Ось так виглядає ця машина.
All right, Russian troops left the T-80 tank. Ukrainian military is already performing combat missions with it. Oh, this is Patron, the dog. Continues to clear areas near Chernihiv. In the past 24 hours, together with Chernihiv pyrotechnicians and the State Emergency Service, he's helped to destroy 262 explosive objects. So the dog Patron, which in World War II there was a famous, what is this? He's a dachshund. There was a famous dachshund or whatever, bomb sniffing dog. Here's Chernihiv right here. So it's in this Oblast. That dog is a champ. Got his little vest on. We need that part, we need that, what's that song? When he's walking away. Someone edit it and do that my money don't jiggle jiggle. Put that song to it right there. He deserves all the treats. How many bombs has he cleared? He's helped destroy 262 explosive objects. Wow. Ukrainian soldiers survive tanks fire. Azov territorial defense. This is 2 days ago. And then we'll go into Rob from Speak the Truth. Combat footage, Ukraine war footage. So this is Ukraine. They got the green bands on. Jack Russell Terrier. Oh. Quick react to contact. Alright, here we go. Alright, Rob from Speak the Truth. Rob Turkle giving us our update on the situation on the ground in Ukraine, the war movements, and this is the latest that he's posted. Unless he's posted a newest one, but I think this is just... Nope, this is it. Russia calls for state of emergency. Let's see what he's got to say.
Form. They are now introducing a state of emergency in the territory of Belgorod over the last 60 days, or for the next 60 days, excuse me. In the last 2 days, since this is actually taking place. I'm going to tell you guys right now, currently as I'm making this video, they are doing nightly runs over the city and shooting flares off. That is the Russian military. They're flying their fighters over there. I don't really exactly know what they're doing. I don't think anybody really does. It's very strange. Honestly, a lot of weird things have been happening inside of Russia over the last week or so. We're talking about bridges being blown out, food processing plants going up in flames, and fuel depots also doing the same thing. But last night there was aircrafts flying over Belgorod, like I was talking about a second ago. I'm going to go ahead and show a video of this happening.
And then, okay. Well, the latest too. This happened before the fires. He hasn't posted yet, Rob. He hasn't posted the latest, but in Boro, what's the name? This will definitely be included in Rob's first video tomorrow that he posts. Boro, I can't even say the name of it. Where'd it go? There it is. Bogorodovskoye. Borobudorsky district in Moscow. That's on fire. It's a children's textbook plant. That's on fire right now as we speak.
And by the way, this is 100% Russian jets without a doubt, but I'm curious as to why they're shooting off flares. I don't really know why they would be doing this other than show of force. Some have heard loud explosions, but I'm telling you guys, I'm fairly confident those were nothing more than sonic booms because there's no indication of actually anything being bombed last night within the city. So Sergei Lavrov, you guys all know this gentleman. We've been talking about him multiple times on this channel. Italian News Network asked him how Russia has claimed fighting to denazify Ukraine, and his response was this. So what if Zelensky is Jewish? The fact does not negate the Nazi elements inside of Ukraine. I believe that Hitler also had Jewish blood, adding that some of the anti-Semites are actually Jews. I want you guys to tell me right now, am I actually understanding this correctly? Please, I want you guys to tell me in the comments down below. Am I understanding this correctly? The Russian narrative is now reversing that the Holocaust and turning the victims into criminals, stating that Hitler was also Jewish descent.
I'll keep my comments to myself.
You guys gotta let me know. Honestly, I have no idea. Am I understanding this correctly? They're literally trying to flip the narrative with denazifying Ukraine, right?
This is happening all over the world, not just with. It's the muddying of waters and of history is definitely happening, and it's not good.
Right? Or am I reading this? Am I understanding this correctly? Please let me know. I'm actually somewhat confused, but I believe that's exactly what he's doing. Anyway, looks like Russia is also now pivoting from the narrative that they will be victorious by May 9th. And this is just another great example of propaganda that is coming out of Russia.
Нам торопиться никогда не надо. Нам надо вот найти свой ритм, а дальше как каток. Четко, ясно, не ставя задач к такому или к другому празднику. Мы задачу решим, специальные военные операции. Это вообще не вопрос. То есть мы, конечно, ее решим. Там уже третья волна мобилизации, а мы без всякой мобилизации спокойно справляемся с поставленной задачей, которую, кстати, все время неправильно американцы для нас формулируют, а мы на это не поддаемся. Я просто не могу понять, зачем они пытаются втянуть несчастную Европу в войну, которая ее уничтожит.
And once again, another factory inside of Russia has mysteriously caught fire. This time it was the Perm ammunition factory, which has been around for about 200 years. Just over 200 years is what I found out. It is the second largest only to Tula. If you guys don't know what Tula is, we buy a lot of the trash ammo here in America. A lot of people use AK-47 ammo, and that's a lot. You get a lot of Tula ammo. It's kind of garbage. It's kind of a lot of stuff. It really is, but it's ammo. Anyway, they're second to Tula, and it's one of the factories that actually produces MLRS rockets. So that is something to take note of. That's the image you guys were actually seeing a second ago. And Russia is apparently considering holding a parade of...
New subscriber, thank you, New York Prepper. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Mercado Media. Welcome to independent media. Thank you so much for supporting independent media.
Prisoners, by the way. This is frowned upon. I mean, a lot of the stuff they're doing inside of Ukraine is clearly frowned upon, but they're thinking about holding a parade of prisoners of war during the victory parade inside of Moscow. They're thinking about doing this on May 9th. And it said that they could be paraded up to around 500 Ukrainian soldiers to demonstrate the fact that Russia is strength and superiority over Ukraine. That's pretty much what they're trying to do. This is something that we'd see like North Korea doing, or possibly China, or I don't know, any other country that's kind of like that. I don't know, Iran. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, this is not something you would think you would see from Russia, but apparently parading around 500 Ukrainian soldiers in front of your country. I do believe that he's also going to do something else on May 9th, which I'll talk about here in a second. And Russian troops are apparently kidnapped a 31-year-old a lab assistant. That is not an actual dog, but a lab assistant. I know a lot of people know that yellow labs and black labs. No, I'm talking about a lab assistant out of a Kyiv hospital prior to them actually leaving the AO, the last time they actually were inside the AO, area of operations. They took this man 600 kilometers northeast of Kyiv to a detention center inside of Kursk, Russia, where he was reportedly beaten. This man also suffered from frostbite and had his toes amputated. So I guess they were trying to get information out of this gentleman. I have no idea, but this is some of the more it's kind of the stuff we've seen inside of this area. So British intelligence also asserts that more than 25% of Russia's BTGs inside of Ukraine have been rendered combat ineffective. Britain has also warned that Russia's elite units, such as the VDV airborne forces, could take at least a year to reconstitute. Yes, I do believe this thing. You guys got to think about this. A lot of the highly trained men inside of the military, like a lot of the stuff that I did, I guess you say, any individual who's trained inside the military, it takes years to get to a certain point. You know what I mean? And when you lose somebody or an individual like the VDV, the airborne troops, these guys have been training for years.
Literally.
Like, this is not something you can just randomly just replace.
Literally, like, for example, job training or for basic training. How long is that? What was it? October, November, December. What was it? 3 months? A little over three months and some change for U.S. Army basic training. And then after that, you go right to your job training. So that was, how long was I? My job training was 7 weeks. 80 at Mike's school was fast, y'all. It was like a month and a half. But there's some jobs out there that you're in school for up to a year. You're in school for up to a year.
Some conscript or a gentleman who might be a reservist. That's not what you do. These men, this is literally what they do for a living. They've been doing this for how many ever years they've been doing. Like, say, for instance, special forces groups, like guys inside our military. You're talking about
80 at Mike's school's 12 weeks now. Oof, yuck. What are you gonna do? I think the 7 weeks was fine. There wasn't really shit else for us to do. That sucks.
Around a 2 to 3 year training period for one. Okay, so yes, when you lose one, it's very significant. And I've seen many, many, many reports, by the way, of Chechens along with Russians stealing about $5 million worth of farming equipment from Ukrainians. I actually have a video I want to share with you guys. So here is that.
It also costs $25,000 per soldier to get them through basic training in the U.S. Army. That's just basic training. And like all of your shots and all the gear and shit that you get.
So now with that being said, it should be noted that almost all the equipment that has been stolen is now inoperable because they were remotely disabled by Ukrainians who own the tractors. So yes, we do live in the 21st century, not the Stone Age. They literally disabled them remotely. So there you go. That didn't really pan out too well. But yeah, I will say it is probably fairly true. I didn't talk about this yesterday. I saw the reports of it coming through. I was like, are they really stealing tractors? But I got some reasons why they would want to. So Russian state TV is actually now saying they're plotting to cut off Ukrainian supply crop and send their corn to China. So go ahead and enjoy this Russian state video.
Китайцев по поводу кукурузы, но они как бы не реализовались.
Если надо, мы им поставим украинскую кукурузу.
Безусловно, безусловно. Тем более, что для этого есть все возможности. Отрезание бывшей Украинской ССР от Черного моря, от пахотных земель, от житницы. Это самое опасное. И, кстати, к вопросу о кукурузе. Но еще одна вещь нам тоже предстоит. Нам нужно найти эффективные точки уязвимости у американцев. Надо думать. Не надо об этом рассказывать публично, но надо их искать, чтобы на них надавить. Чтобы это было последней каплей, которая американскую элиту заставит убедиться и увериться, что с нами надо договариваться. И с нами надо договариваться на наших условиях, а не на их.
So yes, my previous accusation or their previous accusation from the Ukrainian civilians seems to be plausible and the fact to be truthful of them actually stealing the equipment. So Ukrainian officials now believe the death toll for civilians inside of the capital of Kyiv is now around 1,202 KA after 8 more mass graves have been identified. The deputy head of police for Kyiv has actually stated that these are civilians with signs of torture and that they've actually been shot in the head. The newspaper you guys are currently seeing, this one that is on this screen, is actually from Transnistria, which was printed today, today's date, which you guys can see it. And it's apparently breaking news. And it says this: the bloody terror acts that have been happening, which there were never ones that actually happened, by the way, goes on to say that with dozens killed plus civilians, call Putin to save us and invade. This is clearly staged down there. I mean, they literally were pre-printing newspapers for acts that actually haven't been committed. Okay. So this entire area down in Transnistria, we know this is one of the type of things they're trying to plan something so Russia has the actual right to invade Moldova and go through this side of Ukraine. They really want to get down near Odessa, which we all know this. They're not going to be able to. The amphibious part of this thing, if they're literally losing ships, they've lost 3 ships now to a country that does not have a navy. Can somebody please tell me how that is even possible? And not even just 3 ships. One of the ships was the premier ship of their fleet. You know what I mean? It was named after Moscow, for God's sakes. I don't know. I don't see them doing an amphibious landing on Odessa anytime soon. I think a lot of people will probably agree with me. It is believed that Putin will actually formally declare war. This is something I was talking about earlier about May 9th. I believe this is something that's going to happen on May 9th. I believe it's going to formally, it's been said this, by the way, declare war on Ukraine.
Who agrees? Poll now. Who agrees with this one? Do you think that Vladimir Putin will officially declare war on May 9th and stop with this which is going to make it worse, which the war will definitely increase, or whatever they're doing? Stop calling it a special military operation and officially declare war. Well, Putin officially declare war. I've heard this in other sources as well. On May 9th. Keep in mind, I don't watch Rob's videos before you guys, so I'm seeing this for the first time. Yes, no. Unsure. Alright, cast your vote. Polls up. Alright, here you go.
Come May 9th during his victory parade. This will allow the full mobilization of Russian reserve forces as they attempt to push through the eastern side of...
No, Russia's never officially declared war, ever. It's a special military operation. They've slipped up in press conferences and interviews saying war, but they've never officially declared war. It's a special military operation to them.
Ukraine. So now he can actually call in the reservists. They have a lot of them. They have a very large military. They could not do this right now because they've been talking about this thing. They've been calling this thing a special military operation, which we all know it's not. This thing,
there you go.
Started, quote unquote, as we all know, back in February, back in January, December, as training exercises, and then they just so happened to cross the border. This is not this. This has been pre-planned this entire time. Now,
this has been go back to 2014, where they started. This started in 2014. For real. This didn't start in February. This started in 2014 right here in Crimea. When they annexed Crimea. That's when it started. Nobody was real paying attention.
Now he probably did think, honest to God, Putin probably thought that he could take over Ukraine by May 9th. And that is not going to be the case. And clearly it's not going to be the case. He can't even take over the eastern half of the country by May 9th.
And we did that poll in the beginning of the stream. I asked you guys, do you think he will win? Like, they'll win by May 9th? And it got like nearly 90% said no. So nobody believes that Russia will win or anything by May 9th. That's ridiculous. But the one interesting May 9th relative question is, do you think that Putin will officially declare war on that day?
Let alone by June or July. Just going off attrition rate, let's just be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, how much faster can they keep resupplying these men with all their supplies, food, ammo, water, when all these things inside the country keep going up in flames? Okay, so we're going to move over to mapping. If you guys are new to the channel, mapping is pretty much my bread and butter. A lot of stuff.
Ah, dang. Are you yelling to the mic?
It's pretty much what I do. So anyway, I draw these things up. Red is going to be Russia. Blue is going to be Ukraine. Now out the gate over here inside of Kharkiv, there was a lot of activity with assaults. Now it has been noted, I have not changed it yet because I'm like this. I want you guys to know, I try to wait and verify. So as of right now, I'm going to say, we know that these two areas are heavily contested as of yesterday in yesterday's video. That is still the case. Now it has been noted that the Ukrainian forces have actually pushed the Russian military all the way back to Stary Seltiv, just right here. So I haven't changed it yet, and I might do it by tomorrow, just depending on if I can get a clear indication this is actually a factual thing, that this entire area you guys are currently seeing
the actual
would actually
factuals.
be controlled by Ukrainian forces, and they are assaulting north. Now, this is a big deal, and we talked about this yesterday, because if they are able to actually continually push the Russian military more northern back into Russia, they're going to have to shift forces out.
So, okay, so he's waiting for another report. So there were reports yesterday that Ukraine had taken back those 4 villages. So he's waiting on his sources that he's got on the ground, or hear more. But we had reports yesterday. No, it would have been Saturday. That was the last stream I did. That Ukraine had taken back 4 villages. Okay. So Rob's waiting a little bit.
Of this eastern area. So out of Izium, most likely we'll have to shift some troops back up, and after Severodonetsk all the way back up as well. I'm telling you guys this because they cannot lose the Kharkiv AO. And yes, they have made massive mistakes. They had around 7 BTGs worth of men up there. And I told you guys, I think about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, that I think the smartest thing for the Ukrainian military to do was to assault in the Kharkiv region and start to take back, and they have. They've taken back significant ground. In tomorrow's video, I will make sure that we'll have a GIF prep for you guys so you guys can see the last month worth of ground taken and lost by both parties. So we're going to move to the eastern...
God dang it. What did he do with his mic?
Side of the country. There hasn't been a significant amount of movement from either side over the last 24 hours inside of this region, but Russian troops have actually breached the defenses down inside of Lyman. In the southeast corner of the city are now fighting street to gain ground. So here is Lyman right here. So they've breached the defenses. So I have annotated, and I've showed you guys right here. They are down here in the southeast corner, and they have been. So they have actually started to push through in breach going westernly into Lyman, that is. We know that I think it's on the northern side of Lyman, the bridge was blown out, so they had to find another route into Lyman. So yesterday we talked about there was a possibility that Russians have actually taken full control of Yampol. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I've read that they have taken full control of Yampol, and I've also said that the Ukrainian forces still have control of a portion of Yampol. So I have not...
You're going back to 2008 in Georgia? So you're going big picture then, Rick. So you're going like when Russia began its quest to remake the Soviet Union great again, basically? So you're going like the big picture? Understand that. I was referencing specifically Ukraine. But I can agree there. Yeah, the 2008 Georgian invasion. Yeah, that's when they began their quest to reunite the Soviet Union. You're not wrong.
Not change it on my map, as you guys can see right here. It is still the exact same area. Now, yesterday was the day where they actually took some major ground. That is the Russian forces moving towards Yampol. And I'm telling you guys, I do not want to see this, and I know a lot of people on planet Earth don't want to see this, but I think it's something that could possibly happen. Ukrainian forces could get encircled up here just north of Sloviansk, okay? The Russian forces could push over, connect with that group, and they could encircle the men just north. And then with that being said, the men coming out of Popsana down here could do the same thing and then circle...
Come on, Rob.
Encircle the men inside of Severodonetsk. I do believe that is what they're planning to do, and then after they do that, they move south. Okay, southwest. So anyway, that's pretty much the mapping. There has been a lot going on when it comes to movements from either party. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I will see you with another one tomorrow. There could be a lot going on. There could not.
All right. That's Rob Turkla from Speak the Truth. Let's check the latest. The latest. I think that might be it for the night. Putin takes full control of Russian invasion and orders officers to capture Zelensky's birthplace. His former KGB agent says he is so paranoid he can be compared to Stalin and probably has dementia. Daily Mail. Is Daily Mail any good for a source? I have not used Daily Mail. Russian President Vladimir Putin is believed to have taken full control over the war in Ukraine and is making impossible demands as his forces continue to assault the eastern Donbas region. Putin has assumed day-to-day control over the conflict and has largely delegated the running of Russia to Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin, according to senior EU source cited by MD of the Eurasia Group. So many ads all over this thing. It's hit and miss. Okay. I think all news is hit and miss. Messing on. So this is some more from Russian state TV. This might be what Rob talked about. We'll see here quick. Messaging on Russian state TV. They want the West to know what an average Russian person is even more bloodthirsty than Putin himself. That they want Russia's invasion of Ukraine to continue and are disappointed that world leaders are visiting Zelensky weren't killed along with them.
У нас в стране многие мыслят в этом смысле гораздо радикальнее президента Путина. Если кому-то кажется, что президент Путин очень жесток, вы ошибаетесь, дорогие господа, так сказать, сэры, пэры и прочие, да, и паны. Вы ошибаетесь. Кому-то кажется, наверное, что вот они, может быть, сами себе врут, что вот есть такой большой такой российский народ, он весь мечтает, так сказать, как бы жить там в либеральной демократии, а один Путин заставляет тут это самое, вот это, вести эту военную операцию и так далее. Вы ошибаетесь. Вот буквально, мне периодически, так сказать, я общаюсь с людьми на улице, вот буквально недавно, говорят, дед один подходит, говорит, что вы там, говорит, все в зорницу-то играете? Надо, говорит, их уничтожить было, когда...
Anecdotal evidence.
Не приезжали эти президенты к Зеленскому.
Anecdotal personal evidence to support a... Oh, man, that sounds...
Да и все. Да и все. Вместе с этим Зеленским. И не было бы украинского государства, и некому было бы помощь оказывать. И этих тоже туда до кучи, чтобы они не борзели. Вот на самом деле, как думает в массе своей условный русский мужик. Вот так. Подходы, условно говоря, массового там российского гражданина, они гораздо более жесткие и радикальные.
Не будет мира, если не будет России.
Еще пару
и
фраз.
Путина поэтому они так боятся, потому что они понимают, что Путин не пойдет ни на какие компромиссы. Не будет никаких компромиссов.
Ну, дай-то бог.
Part of me feels that they play this up knowing Western media is tracking them too. Hard to tell.
У нас в стране...
Scary situation. They could be playing it up because they're trying to just scare the West that are tracking what they're doing. But it could all be dead ass serious. Who knows? I think maybe a little bit of both. Images released April 27th throw a Dutch-German air and missile defense task force deploying Patriot surface to air missile systems near Selak Air Base, Slovakia, to reinforce NATO's eastern flank. I thought we got even more of them now. Man, they had the Patriot missile system out there in like March. They had that thing out there at the beginning of March. We were watching videos. Remember when that stupid Michael Tracy took pictures and he got roasted on the internet for it? Trying to make it seem like, what's the US doing? And there was like a NATO exercise going on. Alright, well, they're moving more Patriot systems, I guess. Along the Polish border. The Ukrainian TV programs. Find one for me. Here's a picture. I think German and Dutch soldiers operating the Patriot systems at Selak in Slovakia, part of the new NATO EVA battle group on Alliance's eastern flank. This opens a new important chapter in our relations with Germany. Friends in need are friends indeed. The Patriot missile system in the back. World peace, baby. This is why we're playing Metal Gear Solid right now, by the way. Hey, chat, if you guys haven't, make sure you also subscribe to our gaming channel. We just started. Hey, we just started last night. We had a great stream. Great stream. Played Metal Gear Solid 3. We're playing the whole franchise from start to finish.
We're asking to have your gun jam on you.
Oh, yeah. We started last night. Subscribe to Snack Squad Gaming. All right? You guys definitely don't want to miss out. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Thank you for choosing independent media. So, I mean, we got more fires in Russia, in Moscow. There's more evacuations in the Azovstal steel plant, and I'm sure there will be more to continue. We'll cover tomorrow, and we'll see more video coming out of that. There's increased missile strikes in the western city of Odessa, and then there's the battle in the Donbas rages on. That's the best way I can put the situation in Ukraine right now. Battle in the east wages on. City of Mariupol, they're still evacuating civilians the best they can. City of Kherson's got their internet back on. The Ukraine destroyed it, and Russia reestablished connection. Again, missile strikes in Odessa, and fires again in the city of Belgorod in Moscow. That's the recap. All right. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Thank you for choosing independent media as your source. Where we going here? There we go. Thank you for choosing independent media as your source. I'm Andy Mercado, independent journalist, U.S. Army veteran. Until next time, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the gaming channel, like the video. Make sure you got your notifications on, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Have a good one.